Never before have we had greater face a complex, rapidly changing world. Think of it a moment.
It is a world in which supersonic speeds are commonplace. It is a world that has seen the coming of the atomic bomb. It has seen the rise of the total state, the dictator, and the mass man. It is a world of new sensations, new excitements, new distractions.
So much to be learned by so many in so little time.
And I suppose you're here with no agenda, as per usual?
On the contrary, I'm here for comics. What kind of man are you, anyway? I'm talking comics and you bring up chicks and romance?
I just don't care. I don't know why it keeps fading to that black thing. But, guys, how are you doing out there? It is Thursday night. I know we're a little late. First of all, we delayed the stream by like 30 minutes anyway. And then we had some really stupid tech problems that we had to iron out. But we've ironed them out. Andrew, say something. Let's make sure you're not muted or anything. Everybody can hear you.
Hopefully I'm not muted. Hopefully my audio is in good quality. Hopefully it's in good volume. And hopefully I'm not doubling.
Yeah, and no, everything sounds good on our end or on my end over here. Hopefully it's coming across for everybody there. But yeah, guys, welcome to Foil Variant. It's Thursday night. I'm having this is a weird intro because I don't really know what to tell you guys about what we're going to talk about tonight. Because Andrew, as you know, like this is an insanely slow week. Like,
there were literally only 2 books. I looked at my, I think after we got off air last week, I looked at my League of Comic Geeks app, which is what I use to like track my pull list and everything. It's super handy. And I was like, bro, there's only 2 books on my pull list this coming week. And one of them was Ultimates. And I was like, I'll be honest, I don't give a crap about Ultimates anymore. It's just Gale's Uncanny that I care about.
In case you guys haven't seen lately, obviously Andrew and I have been building out Foil Variant. Part of that was we've got social media accounts, Twitter, Instagram. Every week we try to just post a fun graphic engagement showing what we're picking up this week. Either, we combine our lists so that we don't have just 900 graphics of like, this is what they're reading together, this is what they're reading separate, yada, yada, yada. This week, I had to stretch. I had to, or not stretch, but reach for things to put on our list because there's just kind of nothing, right? We have an Ultimates, like Andrew said. We have a Uncanny X-Men. And that's kind of it for the main books.
In terms of stuff we actually read, and at least of the stuff that we read together for the purpose of the show for the most part. Yeah, just those. But with Ultimates, I think both you and I are kind of in this space where we just do not care about 6160 anymore because they botched it so hard.
Over it.
This is the equivalent of the Atlanta Falcons botching that massive lead they had against the New England Patriots. They just had it in the bag and they just decided to completely botch it. They just gave them the game.
And you know what?
This is what's happening right now.
Here's a bit of crazy just scheduling and kind of how big of a disaster this has become in terms of Ultimates. Because if you guys remember, you and I, right, we were like, okay, they're doing some weird things here, but where we are right now, Camp is taking some bigger prose swings, he's building out this bigger narrative. We're kind of on board. Show us what you've got. And when we were talking about that, do you remember that they had announced there's going to be the next Ultimates issue is going to be a large epic poem, right? About Thor. And you and I went, weird, but Camp's done some good stuff here so far. He's played with it just enough for us to go, I could all right, show us what you've got. Well, between the delays and everything, it came out this week. Like, that is the issue we're looking at this week, which is literally just like a giant, it's all splash pages. It's all, you know, poetry-esque. And I just like, I don't care. I genuinely don't care. The only reason I even opened it to look at it was because you were like, hey, I need 30 extra minutes because I'm over here on Control Z. And I was like, well, okay, I guess I'll look at Ultimates. But yeah, we were so open to this idea. And now it's like, we just don't want anything to do with any of this. I can't think of anything that I want to see or like hope to see, any resolution, any plot, whatever from the Ultimate Universe. It's just, who cares? They're doing the origin boxes things now over in 616, and it's all stupid. And I don't know what's going on with you guys, Marvel. It's pretty bad, right? Like, DC's eating your lunch consistently, and that doesn't happen. So there's not a lot to talk about with Ultimates. Uncanny, I don't think you got a chance to read it, but there's also, objectively, there's not a lot that happens in it, right? It's continuing the plot, but it's just continuing like, there's no resolutions, there's no secrets, it's one of those issues. It's good.
This doesn't feel like the wrap up to a universe.
No, it doesn't. Like none of this is there's a whole, yeah,
this is like, is anticlimactic is like the ending to the Green Lantern movie right now.
Which I can't even remember. I remember there was a Parallax.
Yeah, Parallax shows up for like 3 minutes. Hal like drags his butt over near the sun and then fires.
Oh, that's right.
The entire sequence is like 5 minutes, and it's like, wow, that's.
And you know what sucks about that movie is like the post-credit scene. Like, they put Sinestro in his like Sinestro Corps uniform. I'll admit, I was like, okay, kind of a shitty first movie. But all right, let's see what we've got.
That movie is a guilty pleasure of mine.
Is it?
Up until the ending, because there are just things that I really do genuinely enjoy. Blake Lively is a nutcase. But her and Ryan Reynolds' chemistry in that movie was fantastic.
It makes sense why
he was a fun Hal. He was a fun Hal. I liked him as Hal.
I think I think he's got the right Hal personality. He doesn't have the right Hal, like, he's handsome, right? But like, Hal's got to have that like Nathan Fillion, like crimson chin, like, you know, like stud pilot. Like,
he should have a little bit more of a broad jaw.
Yeah, but I think like the personality for, like, I'll admit, I still love the
played the role well.
I genuinely like the little joke where he's like showing Taika Waititi, by the way, who's playing, I always forget that character's name, but it's like Hal Jordan's best friend.
Either,
like, he's like in everything. Yeah. He's like his Short Round, kind of, because he's always like there in the Silver Age. Like, he works at Ferris Air and helps him, you know, manage his identity and all the danger and all that stuff. But there's that scene where he's showing him the ring and he goes, boom, and he like puts on like the mask or something, or no, he like puts on the suit and he's like, but imagine that, but all over. And I'm like, that's a pretty good little bit. I like that.
No, it was pretty funny. Like, they even had, like, honestly, that was my introduction to Taika Waititi. And so like when I heard that he was doing, you know, I think it was Ragnarok was the first one that he did directorially over at Marvel. I was like, isn't that the dude?
Isn't that the guy? Yeah, right. Like
he's a director, because I didn't even know. Like, I don't pay attention to who these people are for the most part.
No. And
you know, unless I see their names in the credits of something and it was a particularly spectacular or particularly bad movie, I don't usually remember people's names in Hollywood because I don't actually give a crap.
And nobody talks about that. Like, for some, like, nobody, go pull up your favorite or least favorite media source, right? And go look for any discussion about the Green Lantern movie. It's just like a memory hole. Like, nobody will bring it up. I think people just forget, because he is admittedly only in the movie for like 5 minutes, maybe, total of screen time throughout all of it, maybe. So, and it's not significant. Like, I get it, but it just, I'm always like, that's a weird connection. I don't know. I feel like everybody should talk about it more. But, so for me, that movie, it falls apart right when Hal goes, I forget what the entire setup is. It's been a while. But when he goes to like that party scene or whatever, like he fights at the party, I think, right? Like
Oh
it was
yeah.
a big like garden party. I don't even remember who he's fighting.
The thing where everybody they bitched about it because like, oh, it's so stupid. He made a freaking Hot Wheels race car track. I'm like,
no, that was sick.
Jordan.
That was
That's
sick.
Hal Jordan.
That was
Hal
amazing.
Jordan would do something exactly like that.
See, that I have no problem. I'm like, that's Green Lantern. You know me. My big problem comes in, Andrew, in that scene when Hal makes the machine gun, because he starts firing normal ass bullets, and I can't deal with it. Like, it just, as a comic book dork, like, just there's not even you can't explain. No, like you can see me right now, like my brain is breaking trying to even reason.
Doesn't make any sense.
How do you
whatsoever.
get like metal made into a gun?
All they had to do was just have it be the energy construct bullets. But even then,
super easy
with a machine gun, something that's that mechanical and complex, as cool as it looks conceptually, that's not something that would be more of a Hal thing. That would be more of a Stewart thing. That's a John Stewart thing, because he's the the architect, so he's gonna be so meticulous about every little nut and bolt and everything. We talk about this all the time when we talk about Green Lantern Rebirth, right? Where Jeff Johns describes how different each of the Green Lanterns are, and it's so insightful, so cool. And he talks about like how mechanical and meticulous John Stewart is. And a lot of us love John Stewart. I mean, Mary in the chat, she loves John Stewart like we do because she grew up watching the Justice League Unlimited show, right? And like that was my first experience really with Green Lantern. I wound up coming to love Hal more over time.
Right.
But my introduction to Green Lantern was John Stewart.
I mean, everybody jokes about it, but like you and I definitely had that reaction of like, wait, Green Lantern's black. Like, what are we doing? Like, what the hell? Where's Green Lantern's a black guy? Who is this? And then it's like, oh, and then here's Green Lantern number 2, white guy with red hair. And here's Green Lantern number 3, white guy with black hair who will determine his Mexican way later on, right? And it's like, well, none of these are
and then
John.
Some people draw him like being kind of Asian as well. Like he gets played with the most frequently in terms of his visual.
It's because, and I think it's like a little bit of racism, honestly, because he does manga style art, right? Like that's Kyle's whole thing. So I think a lot of
he likes manga. He must be Asian.
Oh, the Asian guy. He draws the anime, and I'm just like, okay, guys.
Oh, you like anime?
Yeah. Oh, Egwo. You want Egwo with comic book? And it's just like, okay, all right, guys. Like what are we doing here? But okay, so I know we're totally getting off tangents, and I'll bring us back in a second. But because you brought up Rebirth, I wanted to remind you of, so Jeff Johns wrote Rebirth, and over this past, these last couple days, with nothing really to read on the stack, I was looking through all of the stuff I recently pulled out to read for like the New 52 retrospective and just other stuff we were researching. And in the process of that, one of the things that, got pulled out was the Jeff Johns story, like Here Come the Supermen or whatever. Do you remember this one?
Here Come the Supermen.
It's really, really done. The title betrays what it actually is.
This is in New 52?
Yeah, it's got to be like new. This might be like because DCU is when he like became like the bare knuckle guy before he dies. So yeah, this will be New 52 era.
I'll be honest, I'm not remembering that.
I didn't either, right? And that's why the only reason I picked it up is because I saw the title. It doesn't have any of the regular trade dress for like the Superman series or whatever. And then it said Jeff Johns was the writer. And I was like, whoa, did I just miss something back in like 2010 from Jeff Johns? Because he was doing everything. Lantern, JSA, Justice League. I could see him writing a quick Superman story or something during that time. DC will milk the hell out of it. I open it up. Already off to a bad start because it was a John Romita Jr. drawn story, right? Which as everybody here might know, like I'm a fan of John Romita Jr. back in the day to an extent. Anything he's drawn since maybe like 2003 is absolutely terrible. Like the man needs to just go retire on an island somewhere. Like he's fine. Yeah, just hang it the hell up. So not only is it a John Romita Jr. story, but it's the story where Clark learns he can do like the super flare like attack. Remember?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the whole plot is like in Star Labs back in like, a couple years ago, there was like a think tank that was trying to make like a better world, and it, something went wrong and the lab was about to blow up. So the parents opened a dimensional portal and sent their baby out to, blah, blah, blah. And it's just this parallel to Superman. And it just kind of like plays out the exact same as how many parallel Superman stories have we heard, right? Like, I'm a strong guy. I want to be a hero. I believe, Superman's inspiring. What? You can't just force everybody to do this? Like, you have to be like play by, no way, blah, 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 blah. And it was ultimately really, really stupid. And I was ultimately really, really mad that I read it, but I only bring it up because I was like, do you even remember it? And I mean, that's my answer. And I think that kind of speaks volumes to, that particular story, I guess. But I don't even remember how we got drifting on to Green Lanterns. That's kind of an example, guys, of just where we are tonight with a lack of things to talk about. We'll obviously talk about Death Spiral, the Amazing Spider-Man event.
That's kind of the main thing we're talking about tonight.
It has wrapped up. We got our final issue. I know we got the last part 7 and 8. You got those with me solo. Andrew was out with Mary. Now he's here. We can all come together and we can talk about what do we like, what did we not like, and I think you guys it'll be a good discussion actually, because I think it's a bit of a mixed bag. Yeah, because actually it's surprising. You and I are a little not completely diverged on our opinions, but enough so where we're not completely in alignment. So I think there's a lot to talk about there. Aside from that, I don't know. We got some news stories. We've got the chat. So I don't know, guys. Happy to be here with you this Thursday. Let's hang out. Let's talk some comic books. I guess bear with us for this week. Just know that next week, it is a massive ass week. We will have so much to talk about. So
next week is so packed. It's stupid.
It's really, really packed. I'm going to have to try and redo this graphic to put 40 books on here. I don't even know how I'm going to do it. I got Masta, if you're watching, I'm going to tag you in for some help later on. But before we get into any of that, let us say hello to everybody. Let's check in with the chat, see what everybody is up to. I see a lot of you have already joined us. Starting with Zero says, I'm here. Happy to have you, buddy. We have Punk is also joining us. Punk, glad to have you. And in an example of how little slow this week was, I know even Punk only picked up one comic or one cover, and it was Adam Hughes foil Zatanna, which of course great cover to pick up, but we all know even Punk gets 1 or 2 covers a week, so trust us when we say there's nothing going on here.
Yeah.
We definitely have Mary in the chat, as Andrew was saying, throwing mushy bananas at me. I am here to entertain. Blame your beautiful man over here for screwing up everything on his end technologically. See, this is better. Before the night is over, I'm pantsing both of you. Deserve it. Hey,
wow.
Hand it out. Hand it out
rude.
Equally. Speaking of Mary, in case you guys don't follow Room of Requirement, you haven't been following their channel, which you should. If you're a big fan of Harry Potter, go check out Room of Requirement on YouTube. Link is down below in the description. We'll also share it probably later on, or if Mary is here, she can drop the link in the chat. But our Mary and our Andrew, they're moving in together. I believe she's coming over to Texas. Yeah,
coming over to Texas this fall.
That's pretty cool. I don't know.
It'll be
big moment, but just cool development. You'll be hitching.
Yeah. So
what?
It's it's been a long time coming.
It has, and I don't know what to say about it. It's your guys' moment. I don't want to make it about us or Foil Variant, but yeah, I'm super happy for you guys. Big development. I read that when I was half asleep, and I was like, what? Huh? Yeah. And then it all clicked way later on. So super happy for you guys. And that makes it, check that out, guys. That's better for all of us, because now Andrew can get his Mary time in and still be physically around for us to go get the hell on the stream. We have to bitch about a lot of things. Let's
true.
see. Yeah, Oh, speaking of, yeah, Mary says Mav still had time carved out of Andrew's press junket. When are you going to interview him about his book, Mav? Well, I guess you kind of do every week, sort of. So yeah, guys, side note,
That's true.
in case you haven't noticed, we talked a lot about ArcStream last week when we were promoting it. Andrew is on the press tour. He's hitting up lots of live streams for that. Our man has been busy to the tune of like 3 to 4 live streams a day this week, on top of like his normal RIPA duties and everything. So I don't know. We were talking actually before we came on, and I was just like, dude, I don't know how you're like super wiped. And he's just like, it's what I do. Like, I don't know. He's a stronger man than I.
It's just kind of what I got to do. I want to make sure I get the word out to people, and people have been enthusiastic. And it's not like I've been like going door to door, asking people if I can be on their live stream. It's
No.
people have been DMing me and emailing me, asking me. In fact, I'd completely forgotten. I have one this Saturday morning at 9 a.m., which is early for me on a Saturday.
Yeah. Like even
Because
for me, I'm
usually
like,
I usually try to like roll out of bed at like 8:45 on Saturday morning, but this Saturday is not going to be the case.
like
I'm gonna have to get up a little bit earlier to make sure I have my coffee.
Normally I try to like catch, at least be in the chat for all of your like streams, even if I'm not chatting, give that view. You
That'd be
said
like
9
7 a.m.
Yeah,
for
and
you.
I was like, I don't. I will set an alarm, wake up, have the live stream open so you get everything, and then my ass is going right back to sleep.
I respect it. I respect it,
But
honestly.
that's a good question from Mayor Andrew. I know you and I spoke about, Blue Shift when it was, getting debuted over in Ripazine number 5. What do you think? Do you want to have another interview promo over here for ArcStream? I have no idea when we would do it, but
I'd totally be down with finding a slot to carve out a specific like
yeah,
just talking about ArcStream and just talking. It could expand into just like speedsters in general, but
there's lots we can talk
type
about.
of archetype in general. But yeah, I'd be down with, finding a
I
slot
know
for that.
since the last time we talked, I mean, you've got fans now. We could talk about that, all the fan art that's pouring out. The guys, like, just to again reiterate this, I know I geek out about this every week, but there's a folder that Andrew shares with me for all the graphic stuff that we do here at Foil Variant that is filled with all of the Blue Shift promo stuff because, duh, we're going to use it. He's in the new graphic, by the way. You can find him he's actually not that hard to find, but he's definitely here. But
he's in there.
There is a folder that says fan art, and it is by far and wide and large and whatever the most filled up folder in that entire collection. Like, every day it keeps getting updates. So, all right, cool. I would definitely want to talk about it. I just didn't know if you were going to be like, what would we talk about again? And I'm like, whoa, I'm sorry. I bowed to the master.
No, I mean, it'd be not 100% different from the last time, but it would be different from last time because last time was just talking about a 16-page short story, right?
Yeah.
Which, guys, don't forget to get signed up for the drawing of this.
Yes.
So we've got copies of this thing, which is
sold
completely sold out.
Yes, this is the only way you guys can get the debut of a character who technically doesn't exist anymore, outside of the Ripaverse, whatchamacallit, or the Ripazine collection. That's what I mean to say. So, where is that? Go to our Twitter, Foil Variant Show. There's a Google Doc link. It's our pinned tweet. Go sign up. Yeah, and hopefully we can get you guys some copies in your hands. Let's see. Yeah. We got Matt in the house. What's going on, Mr. Crouching Taylor, Hidden Swift? We've got Reeve. Foil Variant 54. Yes, official 54, not counting, Mavstream episodes or the last time I interviewed Andrew or anything. But yes, 54 and reaching for things to talk about. I don't know. We have Subhuman in the house who kind of backs us up and says, the only thing I read this week was Morrison's Batman and Final Crisis. I still haven't
pulled... he went back and did some reruns is what he did.
Yeah, I mean, in the absence of anything sort of new to read, why not? I also went, aside from that Romita story, there is something I went back and read. It's relevant to Death Spiral, so I'll save it there. But it was fun to go back to it. So, especially, like, I don't know, going back and seeing old comics, especially nowadays, is I don't want to say things were like entirely better, Andrew, right? But there's like a better magic. I feel like
So
things are stupid, but it's
it's
not like
easy to fall into the trap of the the yearning for the nostalgia and remembering things as being better than they were. That is a thing that
yeah.
happens.
Oh,
Like a lot of
definitely.
times when we fantasize about the 90s in comics, there were a lot of great comics that came out in the 90s. There was also a lot of
But
absolute garbage.
Chuck Dixon was not writing all of them, right? Like he was
No,
only a
yeah,
man.
that's the thing. He was only one man, and Claremont was only one man as
Yeah,
well.
seriously.
The X-Men had a good 90s, Spider-Man not as much,
Not
with
as
a couple of
freaking much.
exceptions. With a
Yeah.
couple of exceptions, but for the most part, it's kind of rough. Clone Saga, looking at you. Yeah, yeah. And a lot of other stuff over at Marvel was really rough in the 90s, when they were doing like the Heroes Reborn and all of that. And it's like, man, this was you guys are reaching, what was it? Extreme uh
Extreme everything. Extreme
yeah, it was extreme
X-Men, Extreme
everything
Fantastic
basically.
Four.
And the designs were just kind of all like, what what are we doing here, guys? Like why
Did
why
you
are
see
we why are we trying to completely reinvent the wheel?
Did you see Rob Liefeld? Just like, don't mean to like. This is not gonna like divert us hard, but like Rob Liefeld recently retweeted something where it was somebody on Twitter had posted a compilation, like 4 different like young blood Rob Liefeld parodies that happened in the 90s. And
Mhm.
Rob retweeted it and he's like, so much hate for like one artist triggered them. That means like, I'm a talent worth having around. And I just went like, I don't know,
I don't
Rob.
I don't know if that's the
Yeah,
attitude.
don't
Like
think
you and
that's
I talk about Rob Liefeld quite a bit actually, like off air,
yes, we very
because
much do.
the man you cannot deny the man's impact on the industry. You
Absolutely
can't
not.
deny the fact that the man has good business sense when it comes to comics. You can't deny that he also has good charisma when it comes to talking about this stuff, like great charisma,
He
right?
is a genuinely fun guy to watch. I don't know if anybody
He
else.
is.
You and I watch. He has his Instagram, and regularly, I think it's just like somebody who works at his office. It might even be his son, but that he does this thing where it's like, you know, just 2 characters who would win,
Uh-huh.
and it's always like random ass characters. And Rob, like, it's fun to watch him because he actually is like intellectually honest and he knows what he's talking
Mhm.
about. And even when it gets like really close, you go like, "That's right, Rob. Okay, Rob's one of our
Yeah.
guys." But then, then you go, "Oh, Youngblood #5 is back in like stores." Very,
Mhm.
very. Did you see the? Okay, no, the newest issue of Youngblood totally reused panels from like the 90s.
Yeah,
Let's not get
it had
diverted.
reused panels
Yes,
from the 90s, and
completely reused
I
art.
remember seeing that, and I was like, "What are we doing here?"
Like, come on, Rob. But yes, go back to your original point. I don't want to get us too spiked off of that.
Well, yeah, just to say that, like, we do end up, I think, having this nostalgic fantasy of this longing for yesteryear, right? And it's true that there were a lot of things that were fantastic back then, but bad comics or bad media didn't just pop up in the 2010s or in the 2020s. Those have been around for a while,
They did.
actually. It just wasn't as prominent due to lack of social media back then, honestly. Like it's more prevalent now because we have
Definitely.
more access to it, right? There are more eyes on it. It's just like there's an argument to be made that like there aren't suddenly more assholes out there in the world. There are though an argument can be made that social media makes people the worst version of themselves, but
Absolutely.
there are tools now at our disposal that shows people just being what they are, right?
Just being the
So
worst. Yeah,
that applies to media and like the 90s did have good comic books.
they
It
did.
also had really bad comic books, like really bad comic books. And trust me, I love a lot of the things that came from the 90s. Like the digital coloring boom, like thanks to like the image guys,
Oh
right? Like
man.
that you look at comics the way that they were colored prior to that. Like just look at
The
Jim
like
Lee and
flats and
Claremont's
stuff.
run.
Yeah.
right? And while it's iconic to us, those of us that grew up with that, like if you were just to compare that to a very really well colored,
A well-colored
equally
one,
well
guys, like a
drawn,
Sinclair or
yeah,
a Dollhouse, not just like
yeah, like somebody
a
like that,
fart.
not
Yeah,
just, yeah, not just, Joe Jabroni in his basement,
that we needed to fill
is
in for
basically just
whatever.
doing
Yeah.
flats,
Yes, exactly.
like it's really hard to be like, oh yeah, like this one back then is so much better. It's like
I would almost
it's
say it's
more
like
impressive. It's impressive that they were able to make it pop as well as they did back
that's what I
then
was
with the
gonna say.
technology that
Yeah.
they had, right? But once you add in the digital coloring and the leaps and bounds that it went through, like I couldn't it's hard for me to go back and read a lot of older comics, at least with much frequency,
Hmm.
because even stuff that I love, like take when I do my like annual or semi-annual like reread through the Flash run,
Oh yeah,
which are all behind my Venom and
your
Spider-Man
Venoms.
omnibuses right now. Um, but like my all-time favorite Flash artists are Mike Wieringo and Oscar Jimenez, and the colors that were on their lines
In the
were
beginning. Yeah,
basically the equivalent of flats today, but
they were.
they were able to make it work because that's also just kind of what the standard was back then, because that was pre-digital coloring age for the most part, right?
It was that
But then I
transition
compare that to
from
like
yeah.
seeing Dollhouse coloring something, and I'm like, man, like you don't have to ask me twice if you're like, which do I prefer?
Like, see, I get so torn because I'm with you. Like when you have a good colorist who like knows what they're doing, modern comics far and above. Like I don't know if anybody can really compare like as much as we love them, right? Like a Gardner Fox or a Carmine Infantino
Yeah,
to anybody, right? Or
as
Ebon,
iconic as they were to comic history,
right?
creating Jay Garrick,
Yeah, right. Like
right? And a number of other characters.
Green Lantern, like Hal Jordan, Star
Yeah.
Sapphire, like we were just talking about. But you
Mhm.
genuinely put them like blow for blow against an Ebon,
Mhm.
a Brett Booth, a J. Scott Campbell, a Peach Momok. Like it's not going to be a competition. I think what they did do though was they gave comic books that style, right? They gave us the comic book
Yes.
style, and so I get really torn because old flats, I feel like if you do them all well, like when I read Crisis, right? Like
Yeah, the original.
that
Yeah,
feels
Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yeah,
super stylistic over like dated to me. You know what I mean?
sure.
And
Yeah,
then like
good artists. And
yeah,
obviously you got freaking George Perez, right?
yeah, of
So
course. So
that's
unfair a
there.
little bit.
There are tiers to this, right? If we're talking George Perez, we're talking John Romita Sr. We're talking John Byrne. It's like
Yeah, we're
you
talking
can't be
John
mad
Byrne when
looking
he
at
was
that
like,
art.
"I'm going to meticulously do every curl on Superman's
Yeah, on
mullet,
Superman's hair,
yeah,
right?
like every
Yeah.
single little one."
That was my Superman as a kid, man, because he was drawing it.
And it just like and it flows down. My mom, like, I grew up in the 90s. She had no idea like Superman had a mullet. I just had to tell her. And she's like, "How did I miss this?" And I'm like, You're a big fan of Jerry Seinfeld who loves you. I don't know how you missed it." And
Yeah,
her
he's got
objective read
Seinfeld
was
hair
like,
right now.
he was like, she was like, "That's just bad." And I'm like, "Yeah, it is." But I'm kind of endeared to it. Like, just because
Yeah.
it happened.
It was one of those things where, and you can legitimately criticize it because sometimes comics will do this thing where they try to be too modern. What I mean by
Yes.
that is they try to really capture an era, a decade, or a fad. And when you do that, it makes designs less iconic, I think, because you look at a character that had a design, right, for ages. Superman has a look,
Right.
right? He's got the slicked back black hair with the spit curl. And that's it. It's simplistic, it's iconic. But then you go and decide, well, hey, it's the 80s and mullets are a big deal right now. So let's give Superman well, or we could not, right?
Or we could just not. Like for
and
every
and that becomes
yeah.
a more forgettable design or rememberable for the wrong reasons.
Like I genuinely, guys, and I'm putting this out to Andrew, to all of you out there, including Emily, who I just saw show up. What's up, Emily? What is there any 90s like actually designed that wasn't just like, you know, Kyle Rayner? He got a new suit, but that's because he got a new suit in the 90s, but that's because he was new. Mm-hmm. Was there anybody that was like, this is a 90s designed suit specifically that has survived with like fondness outside of Ben's original Scarlet Spider outfit? I don't like, that is one that just kind of like needled in all the right ways to everybody, that nobody is really mad. Like even you, I know you don't like spiders, but you look at that and you're like, okay, it's from the 90s, but it's not like 90s. It's not like,
I love his OG Scarlet
right,
Spider
yeah,
design,
exactly,
man. Like I love the cut off denim hoodie look. It's great.
I
love it. It's got an iconography to it.
But that's like the only 90s
I love his spectacular Spider-Man.
His spectacular suit. Oh man, it's so,
that's like easily top 5, maybe even higher for me in terms of Spider-Man designs.
It's like, that's such a good Barry to Wally level upgrade. You know what I mean? Like, you're the same character, and this is the natural evolution to somebody going like, I am this person. Like, I am Spider-Man, but I'm also, I kind of needed something a little new. You're not going crazy.
That's a great comparison, because I've said this so many times, especially when I'm talking about my own speedster, because a lot of people don't know squat about speedsters.
Like in the movie, Reeve, right? Like they gave Clark the broccoli hair. Like Clark has broccoli hair. It's pretty funny.
it's kind of hilarious. But you look at Barry's suit, and that's an iconic suit.
Just casually signed, by the way, guys. It's to him.
Oh,
to
yeah,
Andrew.
Yeah, that's right. This Mike Barron signed this for me in at
Boo!
Was it Denver?
Boo! We're cool. We know you're cool. We know.
I think it was Denver Fan Expo like 2 years ago. But anyway, that's not the important part.
Yeah,
the important part is to draw attention to an iconic, very simplistic suit that is stood the test of time, right? But when Wally took over and literally stepped into Barry's boots, and he stepped into one of his old suits, right? He was even using the ring. He used that for a little while, but then he eventually got his own suit, and his suit, it's very similar, but it has enough like tweaks that makes it his own.
And it gives you a different sense of design. So you and I talk about this a lot because, talking about Blue Shift, working on designs for that, we'll chat about things. And when you look at Barry's suit, right, guys, same pretty much principles, but Barry's got the open kind of cloth eyes where you can still see the skin and his eyeballs, and his wings on his mask are a little more rounded, and he's only got the yellow boots. Then you go over to Wally, and he's pretty much everything the same. He's just got sharper eyes, right? He's got the Spider-Man, Batman, like white eyes.
The whiteout eyes?
Yeah, whiteout eyes. That's what I was looking for.
They can't make up their minds, which they like to use, which really bothers me.
And it's like, only recently that they're doing it. And I don't know why. Like in the 90s, they had it outside of like the first couple months when they switched over the costumes. Like, it's pretty consistent.
So during Wade's run, gosh, I really need to find a better spot for my Ven omnibuses. During Wade's run, he had the whiteout eyes for the entirety of it. That I can remember. I want to double check when Grant Morrison and Mark Miller had their brief run, because I want to say he still had them there. No, some panels
it gets weird there. I know that.
Yeah, it goes back and forth, which is strange.
That one, and I know that one like at heart, because it's Grant Morrison on my favorite hero, and I'm like, why? Like, oh my God, stop messing with his eyes. Like, it's all great except for his eyes. What are you doing?
Some issues he has the whiteout eyes, and some issues he has the open eyes, like Barry.
Don't give Hal the metal bullets, right? Like, it's that.
Right, yeah. And then once we get to Jeff Johns gives him the open eyes.
Yes.
Or rather, Scott Collins, who drew most of John's run.
And I
we won't get on that rabbit trail. they give him the open eye.
Aside from that, we don't like Collins's work anyway, and that's Collins is a good artist. We've given him his props. He's fast. He can do his thing. Just doesn't work for us. It is what it is. That when he does the eyes in his like flash suits, it bugs me. It just doesn't. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. It just doesn't work. It works when he does Hunter because it's black and then like a little beady pink, and I'm like, that's kind of scary. That's cool. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm just like, this is like you're drawing a Barry instead of a Wally, right? So it's like, I don't know. Where did we even get? What were we talking about to get here? Oh, like coloring.
We're just talking about costume evolutions.
So just to bring it back to that original point with the coloring and everything, so let me like bring this up. Whoops, that's not the comic we want to talk about. I don't even know why I'm looking at Superman, Spider-Man. That is like not relevant.
Because it's Jim Lee Gambit. That's why.
It's because I had to go get a Jim Lee Gambit for the new graphic. Exactly. I was like, I know what Andrew likes, you filthy animal. But in recent like Superman issues, there's been a couple times where Dan Mora here, he does his work, but it's a classic moment like the death of Superman or here that Infinite Crisis fight, and he does flat colors on it. And I'm like, something about like the modern line art with that explicitly like it's not just flat skies. Like if you go into it, I mean, we can go into it right here. You can see it's got like the dot textures and everything. Like they really go all out on this thing.
It looks really good, honestly.
Yeah, and that's where I get torn because I'm like, I would read so much if it was kind of drawn just like that.
I'd read a book by Mora that was just like his lines and colors, and he was coloring it old school style.
Oh, it would be so cool. He's so good. He's just so good at what he does. I don't know. It's Dan Mora. I wish there was another Superman issue for us to talk about this week, but sadly there isn't. All right. So let's see. I guess I wanted to wrap up the whole original conversation we were having just by saying Andrew's completely right, and that's like he locked on what I'm feeling. I think as you were talking, I came to this realization that I think what I'm latching on to with these old pages and stuff is like it feels more earnest almost, right? Like yes, there's the Clone Saga and it's bad. But I look at that and I'm like, this is a comic book company trying to navigate being like, what the hell are comics right now? We look at like modern stuff, and you and I talk about this all the time. It all just feels like this is to set up the movie. This is to, tie into that or whatever. And you get a new swing and you go, was that a swing or was that like corporate mandated? Was that because there's a movie coming out? Like, I don't really know. So I think
that line kind of blurs sometimes.
Yeah. So I think there's just, it's nostalgia mixing with that. There was a genuine level, not to say it was all roses back then. I mean, Toy Biz and the Abbey era and everything, like it got crazy bad over there. But I think it felt more like they were trying rather than, they were trying to keep us engaged instead of being like, you'll read this. Like, who cares? Like, you're here. You like comic books. Screw you. We're going to do it. Let's see. Andrew, do you want to talk a little bit more news, or do you want to go right into Death Spiral? What are you feeling tonight?
I think something we should at least briefly mention and touch on is that I think it was 3 or 4 comics legends in one day that we lost
Ridiculous.
On Tuesday.
Yes.
So we lost Jerry Conway. We
As
lost
Subhuman brings up, yeah.
Oh gosh, I always forget his name.
I know.
The guy that he created Prime and he created Jesse Quick.
Yes.
I talked about it a bit on World Class Bullshitters on Tuesday nights, and I already forgot his name because I'm awful with most people's names. But then we also lost the creator of Conan.
Yes.
Like and
Savage
then there was, and then there was
Comic
Comic Conan. And then there was one other, I believe was an editor, longtime editor.
The other one is slightly out of it's comics related-ish, but it was the creator of He-Man, which I don't think you and I are big He-Man fans, but we can't deny that He-Man is giant. So you had all three of these guys.
No, there was a cultural impact there.
And so you had all three of them just one after another, just back to back to back to back. And it's obviously we're getting to that point, right, guys? As we grow up, I know we are finally hitting. I used to joke about this with my parents all the time, right? Like because they would have celebrities die that they knew and they were old. And I would go, who? Like what? But I would tell them, like, I know eventually there's going to be the day when it's like everybody I know starts dropping. And I remember when Stan Lee went, that to me was sort of like, it begins. That
was the moment.
Right?
Now it begins. Yeah, this is the beginning.
And so you have, so we're at that point where lots of creators we like are going to start passing. What's particularly...
I mean, John Romita Sr. was only a couple of years ago.
Yeah, Peter David was just last year. Along with like Neil Adams, he just recently passed. I wrote like a bunch when I was writing for Bounding. One of my biggest some of the most popular stories I would write were the obituaries for like all these creators. And I remember there was like a string of like 3 months where like so many of them died that after the one whatever the last one I wrote, I was like, I gotta go for the day, right? Like I've only written like one or two things, but I gotta go because like it just is mounting up. But as you pointed out, a particularly kind of worrying thing is they're all really relatively young. Well, the He-Man guy was like 91.
He was like in his 90s, but like Jerry Conway was in his 70s, early 70s. He was like 71 or 72.
70
that only puts him at like, I think like 2 years older than my dad.
Right. Same. And I'm just like,
that's weird and unnerving.
It's unnerving. And it's also just like, we live in such a time where to be honest with everyone, like 71 to me doesn't even seem like that, like you should be even thinking about death. Like, yeah, you're old, things are harder, but I don't know. I feel just like with all the developments and life and everything, like we can look at 80 pretty easily as like an average human nowadays. So to see these guys going at like 70, you know what it makes me wonder, Andrew, and it's like kind of a little worrying, is like, is this the result of having spent like their youth just in that grind over and over? We got to meet these deadlines. We've got to make everything right. Like
there's probably a lot to be said about like the immense, and you hear stories actually like that the mainstream industry tries to like keep these stories either under the rug or tries to ignore them. But there are a lot of stories about a lot of these longtime pros who end up dying destitute and living out their twilight years, either broke or near broke, sometimes homeless, with awful health because the work that they did was not literal one-to-one sweatshop level. I don't want to necessarily say that,
but it's
like
a good
there
analogy.
are cases.
It's a really good analogy.
It's the best analogy I can make because you hear some of these stories and you're like, holy crap, like these guys were working themselves literally to the marrow.
To the one that always gets me, because he is one of my favorite writers and has a particularly special spot in my heart, was Peter David, Mr. Spider-Man 2099, Supergirl, Hulk, right? Like Genus Vell, all of these characters that I really, really, really loved. He suffered a stroke.
Genus Vell, man.
I know. Where the hell are you, my man?
It's such a cool design.
And it's such a good name. Like for like Marvel's son. I'm like, that's so cool. But he, unfortunately, I think it was like 2020 or like 2019, he suffered a stroke. He, got diagnosed with diabetes. And he, in the final years of his life, guys, he was regularly opening up GoFundMes. He was battling with fucking like Medicaid in like on his dying days. He was like that's what his wife said. He was like, he just got off the phone with Medicaid trying to file another like, hey, put me back on, because he just got kicked off. And that's how he unfortunately passed. And the man was still writing, all sickly. He was still writing stuff up until his death. Like he was writing the new 2099 series and all these things. And it's just like, it's so heartbreaking that all of these guys contribute, whether it's to like, forget an MCU thing or whatever, but like to culture, like you said. And like they shouldn't die destitute. Like it's insane
No.
that any of these guys do. I know you're probably sick of me bringing up this story, but it's the one that I always think of the most when it comes to this is Bill Mantlo, the guy who invented Rocket Raccoon,
Mm-hmm.
who he suffered a very, very serious car accident when he was like in his 30s. So medical care was really hard for him and his family to come by. When the Guardians movies came out, his brother was like, "Can we get any of that money? Because you just made like billions off of Bradley Cooper." And they went, "Nah, I don't think we're gonna do that." And luckily, it caused such an uproar because Mantlo is unfortunately like very disabled now, mentally disabled from the accident.
Mm-hmm.
It was like his last shot. It's like, if we don't get this, we're gonna go on the street. So then Marvel was like, okay, like they didn't announce it. They were like, they give him a private screening of the first Guardians, and then they're like, and we'll take care of his medical bills. Good,
Mm-hmm.
great. But what did you guys sort of notice there? We'll take care of his medical bills. That's a very big, that's a lot. Like, even if you're just, sure, you're paying a lot in medical bills, but not having to pay for home and transport and food, like Disney's saving a pretty penny. So it's just, it hurts.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, God, yeah, Conway's, I think, of note in particular, like in this round, is Conway for us, because the man was so iconic to not just like Marvel with Spider-Man, but over at DC. He made Power Girl.
Yeah.
I don't
Power
know.
Girl, but I mean, he co-creator Punisher.
He co-created Punisher, right? He co-created Punisher. That story, guys, the one with Punisher, aiming the rifle at Spidey,
Mm-hmm.
yellow cover, super iconic. He was 19 when he wrote.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry. That was like, he was 20. He was 19 when he did Death of Gwen Stacy.
How much you want to bet? Oh, that's right. Yeah, because he wrote that. How much you want to
Crazy.
bet they replicate that cover in a scene in Brand New Day, since it's confirmed that Punisher's in the movie?
Oh, they've absolutely got to. And if they don't, like, I will be kind of disappointed. But you know what, I'll be even more disappointed? Do you remember who hires Punisher to go after Spidey?
Okay.
It's fucking Jackal. The clones, you can't escape it. The Clone Saga is everywhere. Like, it's just,
I want off this rock.
right? Like, I want out of here.
Get me out of here.
What's up, Reginald Barclay? And that's another good point too, right? But they have money for Ironheart and Rise of Skywalker. And it's really hard to square that away. Like, as a person, right? Like, if I were in charge of this and let's say there was a really bad deal that was done to somebody back in the day for their character, I don't think as a human, I have it in me to be like, yeah, you fucked up. Like, I'm sorry. Get out of here. Right? I would be like, yeah, that is like completely, I'm going to help you out. And I'd be like kicked out of the CEO chair very, very fast. But it's always insane to me that, yeah, here's your Ironheart. Here's your Eyes of Wakanda show.
Mm-hmm.
Peter David, go to hell. And it's like, Peter,
well, unfortunately,
$20.99.
this is kind of par for the course with the mainstream comic book industry, because I mean, it's no secret now, like how the creators of Superman were treated, and
Oh my
how the
gosh,
creators of
yes.
Batman were treated, right? Like,
Still to this
this
day,
is something that
Bill
actually
Finger
has
like gets
happened.
screwed.
Yeah, this has happened over and over and over in the mainstream, and look, I am a capitalist. I believe in making money. I also believe in treating people well. And if somebody creates something that makes you a crap ton of money, treat them well, and then they'll probably be incentivized to create more things that make you a crap ton of money.
And
And
like,
it's this nice little cycle, and a give and take, and a mutual back scratching. And then you also have the benefit of not being a crappy person.
that's what I was gonna say is like, how is the art of like PR, like, where did that go? Like, do people just not understand that anymore? The idea of like,
No.
okay, maybe it might be a loss for us to pay for X medical expenses or to publish a 30-issue run of this, but that
That
goodwill.
looks really good though when that gets publicized, and say,
Yes.
hey, DC handles medical bills for such and such creator. who was the creator or co-creator of such and such character, and their medical bills are handled or their housing are handled or whatever, like that's for a mega corporation, that's a drop in the bucket,
It
especially if
really
it's like a
is.
one-time thing. Like you can't do that for a bazillion of people. That does add up,
No,
right?
it does.
But
It does.
it's actually a small number of creators that did these things and created a lot of these iconic characters over the course of the last handful of decades.
Because we're not
And
asking for like every inker or every penciler who worked
no,
on a given character.
this
It's
is the writer and the artist who created this character. Look at
boom.
Bane,
Right.
right? Bane, and this is one of the last, honestly, the last living examples of
Yeah,
people who are
kinda.
actually taken
Yeah.
care of. Because Chuck Dixon and Graham Nolan, who are the co-creators of Bane, they still get royalties for that character. That doesn't happen much anymore.
And they had to fight for it, guys.
They
I
did.
remember when we talked
They
to
had
Chuck,
to
he
they had
was
to
like,
fight for it about when he appeared in Dark Knight Rises.
"That's
That movie
right."
that made a crap ton of money.
They were
And
like,
they're like, hey,
they wanted to give him like
hey,
like $100 or whatever, and they're like,
yeah, it was
I
like,
don't fucking think so.
yeah, like come on, really? Like, but that says a lot about the mentality of the people that are in charge. And that's unfortunate because it while yes, sometimes doing the right thing isn't necessarily the easiest or the smoothest thing, it
It's the
it
right thing.
it's the right thing to do regardless, and that will though you shouldn't be doing the right thing because it makes you look good, it will ultimately make you look good in the eyes of like longtime fans. Like if I had known as whatever I was in college, I think, when Dark Knight Rises came out. If I had known that Warner was screwing over Chuck and Graham on that,
I wouldn't have gone and seen it.
I wouldn't have gone to see the movie. And to be honest, like the movie's not very good
No, it's
compared to
not.
the prior two, so I wouldn't have been missing that much either. But if I had known also, conversely, that Chuck and Graham were going to get a cut like a nice check because of their contribution to this character's mythos, right? Because Bane was the first truly
Like
major villain added to Batman's mythos in a very long time.
that, like stuck around,
Yeah.
right? Like
So
Clue
that's a
Master,
big
whatever. Who
deal.
cares?
Yeah, like somebody who had impact, right? This isn't, oh, you're creating
Like,
Joe
oh,
Jabroni who
oh my God, what's her name? Screwball, right?
oh
Like you're
god.
not just making a
Yeah.
Screwball. You're
No.
making a Bane, a Green
You're
Goblin,
making
a
an
Carnage.
you're making a character that DC regularly has used for events in their comic book
A
history,
character
right?
that I would argue, genuinely, in the realm of like the pop culture zeitgeist, might be as maybe not as like recognized, but maybe like second to fucking Joker. Because
Yeah,
Bane or DC loves that break the bat stuff. Like they market that
absolutely.
everywhere. Everybody knows that guy.
1000%. And he had a presence in the animated series. Even when we were kids, he had a presence in the albeit bad movie, Batman and Robin,
I don't know,
right?
man. I can't be mad at that stupid ass scene where Poison Ivy gets back in the car and Bane is dressed up in like the trench coat and fedora as like her driver, and it's just like it's like in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies when like Raph puts on like the disguise to walk
Puts on the
around.
trench
It's
coat,
like
yeah.
I'm pretty sure you're a turtle. Like there's like easily.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But still, he has that much culture impact that
Yeah.
he's adapted frequently, right? So you take care of those people, right? It doesn't
And
seem like it's that much of a rocket
it it,
science.
it and like even if you want to be evil, right? Like you got like is it does nobody understand optics either? Because like Peter David had his stroke and he opened up his like GoFundMe and everything, and then they were like, it was like the next like 3 months later they released Across the Spider-Verse with 2099
Hmm.
in it, which blew up billions of dollars, made 2099
Hmm.
a hyper popular character, and it's like okay, we all
Yeah.
see you have that money now.
2099 had never been that popular in his existence. That
Never.
includes in the 90s when he was created. I know a lot of people that love 2099. He's got a cool design, though I'm
He's
not
all
a
right.
huge fan of the skull design. But overall, he's got a pretty sleek design. all of a sudden, all of these people are turned on to that character. And this
And they're
man is having to open up a GoFundMe to handle his medical? Are you kidding me?
it's like, very much, are you kidding me? So it's just, it's heartbreaking. I I think we are seeing a little bit of progress in terms of creator treatment. It's not a lot, and it's not like, it's nowhere near what we should get. When you guys go see a movie nowadays, like a Superman by James Gunn, or when you go see Spider-Man Brand New Day this summer, nowadays you'll see, like, special thanks, and it will, or like, not just like special thanks, but like to the comic creators, and you'll see every one of them listed. That was a fight. I remember, what was it? I think it was actually like Zack Snyder's Justice League, like the first one. So Justice League. And everybody was like,
so like, credit where credit's due. There was that, special thanks to the, those families. And it's like,
yeah.
All right, well, so there's one thing I like about this movie.
Right, yeah, no, pretty. But then I get mad too, because I'm like, okay, you just threw them all together. These, as a comic dork, I'm like, these creators have significantly different levels of influence that we're talking about here, right? Like, we can't just throw them all into a lump sum. So, yeah, I mean, rest in peace to them. Again, shout outs and prayers and good vibe, Genki Dama energy to Adam Hughes, who is currently battling cancer. And I guess to end this on a somewhat positive note, just so that we're not all immediately depressed before we, move on to our next subjects, I will bring up, not you, Maura. We'll talk about you probably a little later, I'm sure. But if you guys remember, the Spider-Man, Superman crossover issue, the first one, was that the Marvel one? Right?
That was the DC one.
Okay, yeah, so the DC one. If you guys remember, its final story was this Punisher Power Girl one. And a lot of folks, when we got to the story, were like, what the hell are we doing? Like, what? Huh? It's because both of them were created by Jerry Conway. Like, this is specifically like a tribute to his work that kind of is like eerie timing.
It's kind of, what I mean? Yeah, it's kind of eerie that came out only a couple of months before he passed.
Like, did people know? I don't know. I don't want to talk, like, speculate. Oh, shit. I did realize, having this issue open and talking about all of this, Andrew, we do have to go back. We do have to give an apology and formally eat our hats for Jim Lee. We've been making fun of him a lot these past few months for missing Hush 2 and, just go back to running a company. Like, it's been a bit. It's been like a consistent bit here.
Be an art editor. Don't take on interiors, sequentials when you don't have the time or ability or capacity to complete them. Yeah, it turns out that he's actually been having a lot of health struggles. I forget which version of it, but it was one of the forms of diabetes.
Yeah. So, like, ugh.
So yeah, that's on us.
This is, I don't know if you watch them regularly, but Red Letter Media, I remember they did this whole video about, like, why is Bruce Willis in all of these weird, shitty movies? And he's only there for like a second. And, like, what is happening? And then, like, literally the next day after they published that video, his family came out and was like, he's got dementia and he's basically doing all of these movies to kind of just get him a nest egg before he goes. And it was like, what we had here is like million multiplied. It's like, oh man, just like, awful. Okay, but with Conway, rest in peace. The rest of you guys too.
I would love to have that, just that backsplash. So remove the inset panel, remove the panel frame, and just have it be that piece of Remy. That would make an awesome landscape poster.
You know what? I would actually be okay with keeping the dialogue bubbles, because these three bubbles are like self-contained for this scene. You know what I mean? Like, Monsieur Sentinel, just to make it official, what is it? Bang, you dead. And like from MJ and Lois. So like, I could be okay with that. That could be cool. I would like that.
Okay.
But you know what? Just go throw it over to Mondo with all their amazing posters and just give us one of these, right? Like, that's what I want to see. All right. The only other real piece of news that I thought would have been fun to talk about is just, do I have it up? Is it super easy? Yeah. So, no, that's not the right browser. That's not the right window. What are you even open to? Oh, well, one, this was just what I was reading this earlier. Mark Bagley almost got fired from Marvel prior to doing Thunderbolts. So there's a world out there where Mark freaking Bagley didn't
Wasn't
do
on Thunderbolts
not
or
Thunderbolts
on
or Ultimate Spider-Man, and it's a weird world just to imagine wherever that is.
You don't have this book
without Bagley.
Mark Bagley, because Mark Bagley's art brought the Peter Parker origin story and that story overall that Bendis wrote into kind of like that decade's modern era.
And I think it's because you can see this in his regular like 616 work too. He draws a more like lithe and agile Spider-Man, right? Like, so it looks like a lanky kid anyway. So you go, hey, you want to do Teenage Peter Parker? It's like, oh, easy. I got this. Don't worry, guys.
We'll I'm already doing that.
Yeah, we'll have 7 issues banged out by lunch. We're going to be fine. This is what I wanted to show you guys, just because it's funny. So this is 2 weeks from now, the week of May 13th. This is everything, League of Comic Geeks. This is what's coming out.
Kill me.
There's a lot, but I just wanted
so many books coming out.
I just wanted to highlight there are currently 113 fucking covers for Absolute Batman number 20, and it is still right.
That's including retailer exclusive variants. But that's
absolutely. But geez,
that's insane. Like, guys, when we talk about how cover variants have gotten out of control a bit in the last decade or so, this is what we're talking about. Or when like there's a new number 1 for a whatever book and there's like 40 something of them, we're like, guys,
like, what are
there's such a thing as overkill.
And it's weird because normally we would associate this with Marvel, because Marvel's really, really bad about this. Like, how many fucking issues have you and I unfortunately bought of like Amazing Spider-Man stepped in dog poop the mini, because it's like, here's a Rose Besch cover, here's a J. Scott cover, and it's like, you sons of bit, like, fine.
Stop doing that, Marvel. Give Rose Besch like more covers on Scarlet Witch. I'll buy all of those.
But no, you have to put it on
because I'm actually
Spider-Man
really enjoying the book.
Spider-Versity, which is like, nobody wanted this here. Like just go away. Yeah, 100%. And I'm gonna show, like, I just realized this as you were talking, Andrew, to sort of like really drive home how kind of absurd this is. Like, we know it's absurd.
A lot of them are
right?
like the same art with just like minor changes. Like, oh, this is a virgin variant of this, or like this is
foil,
just little tweaks here. It's like, come
you can
on,
see it like right there. But I wanted to sort of like put the stamp on it, which is like, there's so many damn variant covers here. There's a lot. That's 113, and it's counting.
Who's going to buy all of those?
Well, who's going to buy all of them? But then also look at, like, are you using your resources properly, right? Because you and I talked about this. This cover right here, guys, this cover is by Dyke Ruin. And it's just, it is a massive waste of his talents.
That is a criminal waste of Dyke Ruan's talent. We have talked so many times on this show about like the actual war crime that is Flash. What was it, 14 or 15?
Yes, one of those.
Where he had a cover on that, a variant cover, but it could have been the most perfect Flash spot foil cover ever, and they didn't do it.
And yet they keep doing it.
It's still an amazing looking piece of art, but it's like, you could have like done a spot foil on this and then therefore charged a couple more dollars for it and made so much money.
So much more money. They just did like the Phoenix like facsimile, like one of the Phoenix issues from like back in the 80s. Yeah. And they got Dyke to do a cover for it. You and I love it. It's that one of Jean like getting enraptured by the flames. Throw a foil on it, please. No. Okay, well then who's gonna buy a fucking facsimile? Like that foil is the one that's gonna push you over to selling all those copies. So
do they just not want to do foil variants of Dyke Ruan's art?
I mean, you and I have talked about this, right? Because like you were the one who like kind of walked me through and gave me that lesson, or like put it into better words, where like some artists, they just can't translate. Like
Mhm.
Peach is kind of hard to translate slightly because of her like
Unless
watercolory
you're doing
style.
a complete
Right.
gloss, which in that case, you end up losing a lot of it. So it doesn't pop because you're just making the entire thing foil, right? And
Right.
so you lose some of the detailing and some of the quality of
But
the
I
art
think
there.
with like Dyke stuff, it almost is like he draws it to be spotted. Like he whites out things, right? Like
Mhm.
Wally's lightning grip on the ground when on that cover is all
Yeah.
yellow and white. It's like throw spot on there. Or on the Phoenix cover, Jean like she's on fire, but there's a clear like white aura around her. And it's like foil that. Like what are we doing here? And they just don't. But
You
yeah, like
you would think it'd be the easiest thing in the world, honestly. And it's really frustrating
I mean, look
because
at
yeah,
that.
you could
You spot foiled the like manga like wave lines. Like
yeah,
I see it. I'm looking at it right now.
yeah, we did with mine, do it with Dykes. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I look
It's
at
so
that cover,
disappointing.
I'm looking at it right now, and it's like they could have left Wally's suit matte, do a
Yes.
simple gloss, foil gloss on the background, and then do a spot foil on the lightning. Done.
Let's
And
see.
on like the lightning parts of like his, like the lightning bands on his arms.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like the
Easy.
ancillary lightning.
Yeah.
Like these,
It
right? Like ugh. Ugh, it's criminal. It's
it's an actual war crime.
like it really I want I forget her name, but like the DC editor, I want her brought before the Hague. Like it's
Yeah.
insane that this is not in foil in any capacity. Like con exclusive, a print, a
Nothing.
hardcover, direct to market, like nothing. It's just you can get a really good like it's a great image, but it's missing something. But
Mhm.
yeah, just funny enough, guys, like with this cover, I like sent this to Andrew and I was like, okay, just guess who do you think drew this cover? And when he went through like 3 or 4 artists, and when I finally said Dyke, he was just like, "You're no, it's not. Like you're lying to me."
Yeah.
And I was like,
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 bull.
and I had to like take a screenshot of this site, like of League of Comic Geeks, with it saying like Dyke Ruin, and he's like, we were both just kind of like dumbfounded, like what, why, like what,
How you waste a
how do you
talent like
waste him
Dyke
like that?
on
Oh.
a cover like that.
And it's like you've got mechas here. You could have done something, but this is the one they wanted from him. So I don't really know. I don't really know where to go with that. But yes, 113 covers for Absolute Batman. Go pick one up somewhere. Or
That's so many. That's
or if you want
ridiculous.
to, help Marvel out, you can go buy some of their Magic the Gathering variants, which like
Wait, they're doing cover variants of the Magic the Gathering art?
and they're not only like they're doing two, dude. It's the full art, and then it's like the card, right? Because like there's that Ben one, and like I'm holding the Ben right here. It's and I'm just like, you're really A, you're gonna milk this, and B, you're gonna do it twice. Like, are you for real? For real? For real? I would be the target audience for this, and I don't want anything to do with this. Like, I want this out
That
of
is
my face.
shameful. That is
So
absolutely
bad.
shameful.
And they're doing it for like weeks. They're just going on and on and on. And I'm just like, when it comes to milking their fans, like, yeah, like you go, Marvel. And I guess Adventure Time. Oh, because I typed
That does
magic. That's
me
why.
that does me pain.
It's so
Man.
much pain. It's so much pain. And I hate that I'll probably buy this one. Because, like, I love this art. Because it's freaking MJ and Peter
That's a
being happy.
that's a great piece of art. It's a great piece of art. There's zero question about that. We can't argue about
But
that.
it's the money grubbing behind it. But
Yeah. Makes me feel gross.
Andrew, we've obviously been just filling dead air here for about an hour and 15. What do you say we finally get into talking a comic book? I guess if we will.
I think that leaves us with enough time now to actually fill out with Death Spiral.
Alrighty, let's jump over to that. Let me make sure I have 2 comics open right now, so I want to make sure that we're going to jump over to the other one because the second is the surprise. It's a surprise tool that we'll look at later. All right, so let us jump on over. Wait, where'd the damn issue go? It disappeared on me. Okay, there we go. Oh, that's not even the right issue. That is the last issue. So, what was it? An Amazing, right? That it ended in? Yes.
Yes.
It is Amazing 27. Yes, it is Amazing 27. All right. Ready. Jump on over. Here we are, guys. Let's finally get into the week's comic. We have, or it's not even the week's comic. This is actually last week's comic. It is the conclusion to the Amazing Spider-Man's latest event, Death Spiral. If you guys remember, or as you guys may recall, a serial killer named Torment is after Eddie Brock, Mary Jane, and Spider-Man because he has this weird obsession with killing in a spiral. So he'll start, I want to kill Peter. I'll go, start with like your 400th cousin, twice.
Yeah, I gotta start with your furthest living relative right now,
and then
I'm gonna
bring
start
it
there,
all the way in.
Circle
So if you guys
which is an interesting concept in and of itself.
It's not a bad gimmick, I think is like the right term, right? Like if this was like a season of Dexter, that's actually not a bad, that's not a bad thing, obsession. If you guys remember last issue, we got to, or where we are as of last foil variant, when you guys were hanging out with me, we had Torment teaming up with Carnage. They were bonded. They were about to kill Aunt May and Anna. Boom! Spidey and Venom and Anti-Venom and everybody arrives to save the day. At the very end of that confrontation, Torment realizes, oh, Carnage isn't working for me, tries to kill him, tries to get away from him. Carnage goes, I'm dying. But so are you, Peter, who has just been, stabbed to death by Torment in a weird
he's been stabbed
way.
Stabbed by Torment / Carnage.
Yeah, we talked about this on the last episode. In that last page, he abandons the symbiote, but then he shoots him with symbiote tendrils, and they're illustrated different. It's here. I'll pull it up because I have it right here. Boop 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 boop. Oh, I did have it here. Boop boop. Venom. Yeah, let's talk about Venom 250. Let's do that. Never again. Okay, so jump over to Venom. Where are you, Venom? Amazing Spider-Man's there. Why don't you? Where are you? Come on. You're gonna be here somewhere. Or you're not. Okay, maybe I just have to do this. Boom. Boom. Okay, yes, so this was the last issue, guys. Y'all remember? Torment fighting, blah, 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 blah. Sends out Carnage. Carnage kind of starts wantonly killing. It drives Torment crazy because it's breaking his little obsession. So, yeah, there is this dust up here, right? Where he goes, this is I've had it with you. And he hits Carnage with his, stolen shocker gauntlet. And then Spidey and MJ show up. But here, this is what I was showing everybody last time, Andrew. What the hell am I looking at? Are these tendrils?
Oh yeah, that does look more like Carnage's stuff than it looks his spiked whip thing.
I mean, you can see he's got the whip around him. Yeah. Whip. And it's also it's illustrated different because all the Carnage tendrils we see throughout this issue, right?
They usually have the black and then the darker red.
Yeah, and they're inked, and then here it's just all the layer is all on top of it, of everything. And so I
don't understand what's happening there actually.
Okay, I'm glad that this isn't a case
now that I'm giving it a second look.
Right?
Yeah, no, now that I'm giving it a second look, because I didn't even think about it while I was reading it, because the second that happened, having the knowledge of what Torment had just done the scene prior to that to Carnage, I'm like, oh, here's where we get it, right?
Here's where we get it, yeah.
Peter bonding with Carnage, right? And so that was what my focus was. I didn't even notice. I was
well, that was
ready for that reveal.
That was me too last week. I was talking with everybody, and then I went, wait a minute, does that look different to anybody? And I kind of came to the conclusion of what the hell am I looking at? And all right, it looks like we'll never know.
It's just not explained.
It's
are we supposed to just assume that maybe there's residual Carnage symbiote on him or something?
When have we ever seen that? When have we literally ever seen somebody being able to manipulate I took the tendrils of a symbiote? It's just that's not how it works.
There's no precedent for that I can think of.
And so I guess as with most comic book things, right? I wouldn't be opposed to it. It can make sense.
You just got to make it make
you
sense.
just got to make it sense. Exactly. And you just didn't. You just had it happen, and it doesn't show up again. So, before we dive into the finale, Andrew, is there anything you want to hit from the weeks you were, like, anything you just want to, you were thinking before we launched in, any weirdness you saw in any other issues, just to make sure? I don't have anything I'm thinking of. I'm just in case you had anything.
I don't think I can think of anything right now. I know that, like, this was one of those events where we kind of went back and forth with it, where we were like, I want this event to be cool, and there are like cool moments, but the event itself just also feels like it's not going anywhere
And it's
in the long
pointless.
term.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they also wound up having a villain who was ultimately kind of a nothing burger, right? Torment was
Right.
kind of a dud. Like, he had an interesting gimmick, right? But you actually said it best, I think, on I don't remember if you said it in a DM to me or
Yeah,
if
we
you
might
said
have
it
just been talking.
on one of the solo streams where you basically called him Muse without a personality.
Oh yeah, that was in our DMs. Yeah, because he's got the gimmick, and you go, okay,
Yeah.
that's cool, but there's nothing to, like, that's it. That is all.
There's nothing behind it. We don't have any motivation. We don't have anything about the character. We don't see the character's face until he's
No.
about to die.
And even then, so as, like, that was one of my big complaints, and I talked to you about this right after last week's solo stream, where I was like, before, like, I asked Andrew because I knew he was coming back for this, and I said, where do you feel about Death Spiral right now? Like what are you feeling? And he's like, I'm actually kind of feeling it. Like, it's not bad. I want it to land, but so far things are working. And I was like, okay, I get that. And I can agree. It's bugging me that we don't know what this guy is about or who he is or anything yet.
And we never learned anything about him.
And that's the
And
problem.
my
Andrew
hope
tried to
was-
temper me. He was like, it's probably going to come out in the 9th. Like, come on, you know that.
And that was my hope, right? That was because I was trying to trust in Kelly
Yeah,
because I
I
know he's a
know.
good writer.
Kelly and
You know?
Ewing, who's doing the
Yeah.
other ones, like in the Venom
That's right.
books.
That's right. And so I was like, I want to believe that we're going to learn something impactful about this character, about this villain Torment in one of the last 2 issues, right? And then it's going to bring things together and be like, okay, maybe this
Like,
wasn't the world's greatest
oh!
Spider-Man event, but at least we're like, oh, well, that's interesting. And
now
now we're
it's like-
thinking about it
it's-
at least.
it's
but now
coherent,
it's just kind of
yeah.
like a wet fart, right?
Now-
Where it's like, it happened and now we're moving past it. And the most impactful thing about this event
Is
wasn't
this.
Spidey being bonded with Carnage for 5 seconds. It was actually what happens at the very end, which is MJ killing Torment.
Yes. So this issue, there isn't really a lot that goes on. It is very much, Carnage. Whoops, wrong button. Carnage after bonding with
Which
Peter.
I will say, that is a cool design.
Yes. And we'll talk about it. There's things I like about it, and
They
things
just
I
didn't
don't.
do anything with it, unfortunately.
well, they kinda-
He's like that for 5 minutes.
He's like that exactly, and I feel like they didn't warp him.
They didn't
enough.
let it cook.
Yeah, they didn't
They
warp
didn't let
him
it
enough.
cook.
He's still, like, look at I like the Carnage, like, feet back there that he has, but that's the only real, like, he's still just Spider-Man with a scary face, which is
So
like,
I can understand where you're coming from on that. And this, to be very clear and transparent, this actually only just dawned on me now when
Yeah.
you start vocalizing that complaint with the design. My guess, and maybe this is me giving them more credit than they deserve, but this would be my guess. If I were to put myself in the artist's shoes and I made that design choice, my
Yeah.
reasoning as the creator or as the designer would be that Peter is still retaining far more of his humanity in there that can be pulled out than we would typically see with anybody else that's bonding with Carnage.
And you know
Right.
what? That makes sense with Carnage being weaker. That he wouldn't go full, like, I've taken over, like, we're the red black, like, goo movie.
Yeah.
Like,
Because
body.
remember,
I can see that.
Carnage is already in a weakened state as is, and that's why he had to bond with
Oh,
Eddie.
that's right. They
And so now
kind of
he's
forgot about
weakened.
that. Yeah, I forgot about
And
that.
so now he's weakened at an entirely other level further again. And
At,
so
like,
when he's
point
bonding
blank,
with Peter here,
hypersonic, yeah.
yeah, he's like, if we were to call his bond with Eddie, we'll just call it like a 50% bond.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
It's
that makes
I
sense.
don't know what the percentage would
And
actually be. That we'll just throw that
it's
number out there,
literally the
right?
MJ Venom situation, and I just put that together right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
We'll call it
Do
that,
something with
right?
that, Al.
Right? Come on, right? We're giving you the ideas for free, right? Um, if you look at it that way with Eddie, then it's like 25% or even less with Peter
Yeah,
at
with
this
Peter
point,
right
right?
now.
Because the damage is probably compounding. You hit somebody who's healthy, you're going to cause damage. You hit somebody who's already damaged, you're going to cause markedly more because they're already in a weakened state.
And you're gonna, yeah, just damage all over the place instead of just that
Yeah.
spot, right? Like, yeah, you punch somebody in
Yeah.
the chest, okay, bruise, whatever. Somebody who's sick, okay, you hit the chest, now the back is broken and the like lungs are crushed, and you know the nerves that connect all over here are all screwy. So that's
Might be giving them some cardiac issues,
that's a
you know.
throwback. Where's he? He would have been perfect for like showing up here. But I think this is kind of a theme you and I have been hitting on tonight unconsciously, which is like nobody, like, it feels like in a lot of comics these days they're asking us to just assume like this is what's happening, and it's like you and I, as we've always talked about, we read comic books, we can accept a lot of things, and it doesn't have to be that complicated. You can just say Speed Force and we go, yep, makes sense. But you've got to explain it. You can't just go, yeah, see, right now, if that is the actual case, there's nobody saying nobody mentions in this book outside of Carnage saying like, I need to bond to you because I'm dying. Nobody says anything about like, I feel like, you know, there's no inner dialogue from Peter where he's like, I feel more in control, and it's trying, like, there's nothing. So if they do this, it'll be a, not to, you know, disparage your favorite, but it was a little bit of it's like a J.K. Rowling thing, right? Where it's like, oh yeah, no, that's totally what happened. And it's like, was it really what happened? Or did that just sound really, really good now that you hear it out loud? You know what I mean? But so okay, I can get by him with that. And with that, it makes a little more sense. I mean, like Andrew said, he doesn't stay Carnage for very long. As you see here, MJ shows up and they have a very, very brief, not even a fight, kind of just like a taunt moment. And then we have Eddie shows up last second, takes
I'll say go back a page real quick.
Yeah.
To that part where Carnage Pete is hitting Venom. Am I completely misremembering how the new Venom is supposed to work? Because doesn't he have the anti-Carnage or anti-symbiote basically built into him now? Shouldn't
what the gold is?
Practically be on fire.
Yes, that's what the gold is. The gold is anti-Karn, essentially. They, for those who don't remember,
it's anti-symbiote essentially.
Dylan Brock went into the fucking future and, like, you know, hung out with Doctor Strange, and
there's a reason why Venom is bonded right now with MJ and not with Dylan. It would actually kill Dylan currently
because Dylan
because
is
of that
essentially a full-blooded symbiote, like through just like mating or whatever, or not mating, but like the breeding, blah blah blah. Go read King in Black and Donny Cates' Venom run. It's really good until there's that arc, like that Venom Island arc, which isn't written by Cates, and I think it was like that filler arc to let him have time to cook the rest of his like arc. It's so bad. Like, okay, maybe it's not bad, but it's very much like, what are we like?
It feels like it's out of left field and like a detour from the arc. And it just feels out of place,
especially because we're with Cates' run up to that point. We're doing so much to make Venom like it's his own thing. Like, way
he really
detached.
Was building, like, it's obviously Venom's always going to be ancillary in some degree to Spider-Man, right? To the Spider-Man mythos. You don't get to go around that. But this was the first time we'd really seen it fleshed out in a way on Earth, like in in
Like
this
he
same
had,
realm, not like because like you have Venom Space Knight, right? But it's like, okay, so you're literally just taking him as far away as possible
yeah,
to try and distance him. Like you're doing it
and letting him
physically.
do something because now he can fight other aliens. Like,
Yeah, you're
okay,
not doing it with the storytelling, you're doing it geographically, right?
yeah.
That's completely different things, and that's fine. But that's very different. And like Agent Venom, like, was still
Yeah.
tied to Spider-Man,
I mean,
you
in
know?
insofar as the fact that it was Flash, right?
Yeah.
And Flash fanboys over Spidey, and did he? I
And he
forget
was
if he knew
constantly
Peter like was
well, he was
Spider-Man at that
constantly
point.
thinking, like, how to make this work and, like, think like Spider-Man,
What would
right? He was
Spider-Man
trying
do? Heck yeah.
he wanted to be the hero, and that's why, honestly, like, Agent Venom is one of the best just Venom runs ever. It's just so well done,
It just
and it was
it's
one of the first times that it really tried to, even though it's not as different as, say, Kate's run in terms of really trying to establish it as its own thing, you could
it,
tell it was still trying to make it its
well,
own
it
thing.
took him out of the trappings of like street level hero, right? Because that's
Yeah.
Spider-Man, and then you had like Lethal Protector, but then
Mhm.
I would say probably up until, pardon me, the Kate's run, everything Venom always came back to Spider-Man. Like it
Yeah.
always,
Whereas
no matter
with
what.
Kate's and Stegman said, "Let's, like," they still acknowledge Spidey
Well,
here and there, but
he's
and you have to,
yeah,
but they really set out to establish their own lore, right? And really build a mythos around Venom.
and
And
if
that's one of the reasons why it's my favorite run
it's so
for the
good.
character, because it takes big swings, and some of those, at first on a first reading, you're kind of like, that's, especially if you're someone where maybe you lean a little more classical, you're like, no, I like my Venom
Shout
lethal
out Clone Geek.
protector,
No, I'm kidding. We
right?
love you, Clone, but yeah.
Right? Maybe you just kind of really dialed in and tied super hard to like the older version, and that's okay. But I respect taking the big swings and trying to evolve a character beyond its initial inception and try and take it in a different direction. It's still the character, but you're actually giving them their own space to occupy rather than sharing somebody else's.
And I mean, you can kind of
They
see
built the sandbox.
there's a good parallel here where with what I was just saying with like you would have a Venom story and somehow it would always land on Peter, right? Like just it no matter what villain they went up against, no matter what scenario, whether the writer or the natural story like you're gonna go back to Peter. In that
Mhm.
Kate's run, Eddie goes to get Peter. Remember? Like when
Mhm.
like when Carnage is coming back to do like the absolute Carnage stuff. He's like, shit, I need
Yeah, that
help
was
now.
actually literally right at Absolute Carnage.
Yep. He's like, I need help. And he goes to Pete and it's like that is.
And that's when he also reveals to Pete that he's got a kid.
Do you want to know? Okay, I just reread Absolute Carnage. That's not the special treat that I was telling everybody about. But there's a bit in it that really bothers me because, and I don't know if it's intentional because I can't remember if anybody ever touched upon this ever again. But when so there's that whole plot point about the Maker, right? And he's building that machine to extract the codexes out of everybody, but leave them
Mhm.
unharmed. And he the first two that they bring to the Maker are Dylan and Normie Osborn with the Carn or like the Red Goblin symbiote or whatever.
The right, yeah.
Yeah. In that moment, like Eddie knows who Peter is, right? Like he knows Spider-Man, but Pete is playing the double identity. So he goes up to the Maker and the Maker's like, "Yes. All right, here's my machine. Put the boys in and let's get this going." Peter goes like, "Whoa. I'm not going to let that happen to like, to Normie Osborn. Peter put his godson like in my charge. I'm not going to betray that, right?" And
Mhm.
then literally the next scene, all the Carnage like hordes break in and Pete leaps into action and he yells, "Stay away from my grandson or my godson." And I'm just like, if that was intentional and somebody followed up, cool. I couldn't tell you because I don't care about Normie. I would have not followed his adventures anywhere
Yeah,
else after this.
I never cared about Normie as a character,
I
personally.
Me
I
neither.
get they were trying to, like, build beyond Harry and build beyond Norman there a little bit, but it's like you didn't do anything with it that felt like it was going to be lasting or impactful.
No, not at all. It very much felt like you're just gimmicking him because you made him a freaking
Yeah.
you made him a goblin symbiote, a goblin and a
Mhm.
symbiote. Like, do you remember because Normie's been around for a long time. Like, I think he was there like when Harry died, right? Like
Yeah.
from being a Green Goblin. If you go back and you read those old issues, little Normie, the way like Conway and everybody writes him, he's very much like the Omen, right? Like he's like a Damien, where like at every turn Peter looks over and he's like, it doesn't amount to anything, right? It's just like the authors playing on the Osborne connection. I think there could have been something really interesting if you held that gag through Normie being like up to Normie being a teenager, when he could understandably and more realistically have like a superhero career, and
Sure.
it just turns out this entire time that like, oh no, it's just my face, and Peter is like paranoid. Like, I actually like really looked up to you, Pete, because of my mom always talks great about you, and I know how much you meant to my dad, yada yada, and I know how much my grandpa sucks. And you could have had this fun little like, Pete just assumed because it's an Osborne, and he's kind of like doing that to himself, thinking that like this baby hates him, when in reality it's like the complete difference. But instead,
Yeah. That would have been good storytelling. That would have been good subversive storytelling,
right?
Actually,
Instead,
which is
I
not
couldn't even tell
usually
you.
done well.
It really, normally it ends up like this, where you go, what do we have? What haven't we done? Spider Carnage! Let's go, everybody! Yay! Come buy 9 copies of this variant cover. But that actually is like really bugging me now, Andrew. Like, the more I look at like the gold on Venom in this panel, I'm like, dude, yeah, you are literally made of anti-Carnage. They said it. They say it in like the very first issue of all of this. So I don't know where they abandon it, which is just unfortunate. And then this bugs me too.
That unfortunately makes it contrived.
But this bugs me too, because MJ's not supposed to fill out the suit. She's not supposed to be in the mouth. Everybody
we established this in what, issue 1 or issue 2?
Issue 1 of All New Venom.
Her head is actually here.
It's like down, yeah. And
because something I forget what it was. It might have been like a cannonball or something.
Yeah, it was Madame Mask shot like a big ass like hand cannon at her, and it just went like
and
pop!
It takes off Venom's head, and there's like nothing there, and we're all like, what? Wait, and that's where my theorizing started.
That was,
right? It was
actually
like, I think this is MJ. Right.
I know, and I went,
this isn't one of these like 6'2"
I think at that point we were able to rule out. Well, we were able to rule out Luke and Robbie. So we were like, it's
Luke
either
would have
Rick.
filled out the suit.
Yeah, Luke would have been in all of it. So we were like, it's either Rick or it's got to be somebody out of left field. And then you and I both went to MJ, and everybody was like, it's not gonna be MJ. And we were like, where is she? I don't know. I haven't seen her. And we were right. So we locked into that one. But with Eddie showing up last minute, he helps blast the Carnage symbiote off of Peter, and we kind of get. I mean, how do I put this, Andrew? I like this moment conceptually, I think, but I also hate it because it's so kind of dumb.
It's a very Peter moment, but the issue is there was no build up to this. And so it feels hollow. It feels like a Peter moment, right? But it feels like it was rushed, and it feels like there was nothing that really led us to this moment. It just kind of like, this thing happened, and now this is happening.
Yeah.
And there was no connecting point. And so it doesn't ring, I think, as emotionally impactful as it's supposed to.
Especially
I think this is supposed to be one of those moments where, like, yes. Right. This is the kind of thing. This is like a better example of this would be what we just went through last week, right? With the Spider-Man Superman crossover with Jeff Johns and Gary Frank, right? Where Superman calms down the Hulk, raging Hulk, not just regular raging Hulk, but on Red Lantern energy raging
amplified
Hulk,
by Saturn Queen, right? Like, we're going full DC.
Superman
this wins.
Calms him down. Right. I think that's what this kind of thing is supposed to be. but it doesn't land
I think
because it just kind of comes out of nowhere.
more so I think it's like that, but I think they're trying to go for more of the like, and I don't have any good examples, but you'll know what I'm talking about. But like that example of like, I can like open up, like I'm inside of you. I know the human like mind, like give in, and then the other character is like, no, like I am like I'm good, and I am light, and then they kind of just like radiate out, and it like eliminates, like it like erases out whatever
You see
that
that happen in
villain is.
anime.
Yeah, it's a very
You see that
anime
happen in
thing.
anime
Exactly.
a lot, yeah.
That's what this feels like. But kind of to your point, none of this feels right for that final battle, right? Especially between these two, because truly, guys, like the struggle is that it's this is the fight between them. This is as much as we get is just Pete getting sucked into negative emotions by Carnage, and then we come here. He gets hit by Eddie, it weakens him, and Pete goes, all right, let's like finish you off. And it's, you know what, using what we're like the visuals and everything too, it's almost like DCKO if Superman just showed up with like his cosmic powers and went like, we're all good again, and then like the rest of the issue was spent resolving it and seeing where everybody was, where it's like,
so like
sure, but
like the pacing for this event was actually steady up until like
these last
two issues, because these last two issues feel like they're missing an issue. This feels like this should have been a 10-parter rather than a 9-parter.
Right.
And like between issues 9 and 10, that's where you really like fill out that on the interior, that inner conflict between Peter and you could have two fights going on, right? You could have the internal, like mental and emotional conflict between Peter trying to fight back against Carnage. And then on the external, you've got also two fights going on. You've got like Venom having to try and deal with Carnage, and you're gonna have to make that make sense because Venom is like anti-Carnage right now with the gold stuff. He's like anti-symbiote in general right now. And the only reason why I think didn't they even explain this or like at least touch on it? Where like the only reason why Flash is able to be around him is because he's already anti-Venom.
Yep,
right?
So he's already inside of him. Yeah.
So like, and then you could have anti-Venom Flash trying to deal with Torment. So you've got these three different battles going on. Two are external, one is internal. You bring that all to a head in
but then you also
10th
with
final
that
issue.
You do the kind of part that you and we haven't really gotten to yet because we're here now, but you in that moment, right? You have the Carnage Spider-Man battling, to control the body. That's the issue where you tell us what the hell Torment's about, right? While he's battling Eddie or while he's battling Flash, let us know. Here's how I got started. Do something. Guys, literally. So the big twist that Andrew was talking about.
I would even. I'll
go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
I would even be okay with and buy as long as it was written well. And I believe that Joe Kelly could write it well. That Flash, all of a sudden, we learn that actually Flash learned something about Torment on his way to getting here, right?
That would be good too.
He can be the reader's eyes here, where he is now explaining things to us, and while he's having and that's how he either beats or throws off course Torment, because he actually knows stuff about Torment that Torment doesn't think anybody knows.
You know what? That could have made a lot of sense given that Eddie or that Flash is technically like a government employee. He can go,
he has
who is this
resources.
guy? Exactly. Like I can look it up and we can go, we found blood at the scene of this crime. We ran it and it popped up in Ravencroft. This guy was a cellmate to Cletus Castle, something, right? Here's the problem, guys. We get to right here, and this is where Andrew said, we have our kind of the biggest moment of this entire event, which is right here. End of the day, Peter and Eddie are running off, or Peter and Flash. I don't know why I'm mixing them up. I know they're different. Peter and Flash, they're going off to help Aunt May and Anna clean up Feast Center. MJ goes to chase after Torment, who has already started trying to run. She catches him, he kind of goes, you know what? You can put me away, but I'm going to come for you. I know you guys now. Like, I know it thanks to Carnage.
I know who you are, yeah.
Right. And instead of letting that happen, MJ straight up throws him off the building. Like, this isn't a Do you remember the Jason Todd issue way back in the day where like they try Batman and Robin are like trying to get like a drug dealer, and you know, he's killed a woman, he's done all this stuff. The legal resolution is essentially like the guy has to flee back to his country. He's not like arrested, but he has to leave Gotham. And so like when they realize that, Batman turns around, he's like, "What, Robin, where'd you go?" And Jason goes to that guy's apartment, and he like stands on the balcony and he confronts him. The guy's like, "What, Robin, what do you want?" The next panel is him just going like, "Ah!" And Batman asks like, "What happened? Did he slip or did you push him?" And Robin's just like, you know, pacing and everything. Like there's like a silent panel and he goes, he slipped, and he like like he ropes away. And that's kind of that can be really, really ambiguous.
Yeah,
that's
it can
not
be
what
ambiguous.
this is.
It can be done to like draw emotional drama and pacing. This is not what that is. This was, I think, clearly very deliberate because we have
down there in the bottom right, she like lets go. You see like the
and we have Venom asking internally, which one of us was that?
Yeah, was that you or me? Which is
right, and
crazy.
That's the interesting part, right? That's the part where I was like, oh, because now here's the thing, and I feel like there's probably a missing dialogue bubble in here that should happen. Because the implications of this, where Venom is not sure which one of them it was, that tells me that like both of them wanted to do exactly that. Which one was in the driver's seat at that moment? And the driving force there, the driving factor, was that both of them, both the Venom symbiote and MJ, had people that are close to them that were wrapped up in this. On MJ's side, obviously,
who was
Peter.
It was,
Carnage tried to kill Peter. Torment tried to kill Peter. On Venom's side, Torment tried to kill Dylan,
and he killed his dad.
Also, yeah,
right? Like,
and killed Eddie's dad, right? Which Eddie has no real love lost for.
And I thought that was a good way he handled it, right? Because like when I was in the worst patches with like my late father, like I could have seen myself there, where it's like I don't particularly like him, but that's my fucking dad. Like, you don't fucking kill him. I don't want to
see him murdered.
Exactly,
right?
exactly. Yeah,
like you don't get to do that, right? Nobody gets to do that. And so, like, that's actually really interesting, and that's a good emotional beat there. But I feel like in one of these panels, we're missing an internal moment where one of them, it could have you could have done either or. And even if you want, you could split it into two panels, and you could have both MJ and Venom, like, separately, internally thinking or saying, "You tried to kill N." Right? You tried to, or you hurt N, right? You hurt Peter, or you hurt Dylan, or you hurt Eddie.
So that is kind of here, because in that middle panel, right? Like when he starts like taunting Venom MJ, you know, he goes, you know, May Parker, Anna, do you love Peter? Both of you? And like, you know, he's like taunting both of them at that point. And that's when he goes forward to like grab his throat. So I think that's the indication
that's meant to be the implied bit,
right, yeah. So it's implied there,
which that's done well. I would have liked at this point as a Spider-Man fan. As a Spider-Man fan at this point, I'm kind of like, give it to me, right?
So,
like stop beating around the bush.
So let me tell you my read of this and see if it changes that sentiment of stop beating around the bush. Because here,
I'm willing to be convinced.
When we get to this part, right? Was that you or me? Yes, I think both of them have that desire. What I read that as, and why this was where, like, okay, yes, MJ or Venom, whoever it is, going like, I'm going to deliberately kill somebody. That's intense. And as we see after this, MJ straight up doesn't tell Peter, right? Like, Peter goes like, I need you to, like, hey, he goes like, hey, like, good job on, like, you know, or like taking Carnage in. And she's like, you know what? Or no, he's like, no, he says it right here. He's like, you know, I don't know if we succeeded, but we tried. And he goes, you tried, didn't you, MJ? I need you. And he said, I need you to say it to me. Say you tried to save him. And she just goes, the good guys won. Leave it at that. So, like, even if it was the Venom thing, to me, it's like she's enjoying it now. Like, it's getting to her, right? Or she's embracing it. Like, it's maybe not the symbiote's not doing it to her, but like she's getting that taste. And now she's like, well, fuck it. like I've been the damsel all my life. Like I don't want to do this. I don't want anybody to suffer that anymore. But
maybe now I'm the lethal protector.
Right.
Which would be funny if we went that route, and I know a lot of people would be pissed off about that route.
I would be about that. That would be fun.
I would be here for it. And they
even
made that comment. It was Carnage that makes that comment in this issue,
you want me
right?
To be, or like you want to be a lethal protector? Yeah.
Which, like, I'd honestly be here for it if it was written well. And
as with everything,
I like the implication there because that does tie into. Okay, sweetheart. I'll jump in and on
we're probably later. I mean, we got 10 on the official timer. We can probably talk a little bit more, but we're not going to go 4 hours or whatever thing. This is it. This is all we have to talk about.
Yeah, because there was literally nothing this week. Like, we already BS'd like the first half of the show just to like not have to BS this part as much, which was fine. It's still fun. I like the implication there because if we go back to Ebon War, if we go back to Venom War, right? When we had I think it was Colin Kelly that was writing the Venom War Spider-Man.
Adam Lansing? No. That's the guy who's going to get us demonetized if I say his name on YouTube. But or banned rather. But no, it's Jackson Lansing. I think is his name. And then the other guy. So it was both of them because when they team up, they're like really good together.
And that
Jackson
was a really good tie-in part of that event, right? Like they made it very clear that even though there was a hesitancy there still is a viability between Peter and the Venom symbiote in terms of a partnership, in terms of being able to work together and be effective. Right. And it was written so well, right? Because it tied into this is where that was like early on in foil variant, right?
It's
where
like
that was
foil variant origin almost. Yeah.
That's where we really like realized and made aware to the people who were watching us, like, guys, it's literally everybody at Marvel except for the Spider-Man editorial office that feels the way we do.
It's even guest writers, right? Tom King works for DC, and he was like, "What the hell are we doing here?"
Yeah, and I mean, you got Joshua Williamson over at DC,
they
right?
Should be married.
They should. It's like we're talking about, right? I like that is kind of like implied here and teased there. It's like, because both of these characters have an attachment to and care about Peter. It's in different ways, but that's fine. That's in the same way that we as humans care about different people in our lives.
Exactly.
In different ways, in different facets, right? And so that's really interesting. That's good emotional storytelling. I just wish that the rest of this event was as worthwhile as that moment.
Well, that's the problem is that we essentially just spent 9 issues to get to right here. And I don't think it was worth it. We could have done this in like a 4-issue arc and make it, instead of doing this whole Torment, mystery, bring back Alistair Smythe. I don't fucking know, but like you could have done something, right?
I haven't heard Smythe's name dropped in a while.
It's only because I had on my mind, because we're talking MJ, I thought about like the Magic the Gathering set, and for some reason there's a bunch of like 3 or 4 Smythe related cards, and I'm like, why? And so that like popped into my head.
I'll be real, man. The last time I heard Smythe's name was not even in a comic. It was in a movie. It was an Amazing Spider-Man 2. Because Smythe was part of Oscorp in that movie.
And he's like, he's like mentioned in passing or something, isn't he?
Yeah,
and
he's kind of just douchey. He has no real purpose other than he's being douchey to
and you need to have somebody to have the name so that we can all go, oh! But so back to this, just to put a stamp on it so we can start maybe thinking about having a semblance of getting out of here. But to me, I read this as, was that you or me? That suggests to me that they're actually bonding now. And that's a giant leap because up to this point, MJ has been so solid about like, this is survival. We are not fucking friends. This is not a bond. Like, I want to be the hell out of here. And so if she's finally unconsciously letting that bond take hold, that That could be a lot of interesting draw. And so for me, if that's what they do, I'm okay with the lack of specific, like, this is why we're going to draw.
You know what? No, you just convinced me.
I thought I might.
That is what sparks that evolution and why they have the new form in Queen in Black.
Oh, shit. You're right. Oh.
This is because look, it all adds up now because MJ doesn't fill out the body because Venom is trying to still embody Eddie Venom, right?
Because it's just a suit for her at that point. Yeah.
And MJ is just still trying to be MJ and just trying to stay alive, right? And so she's not filling out the suit, right? She's not filling out the symbiote body. When they finally make that connection, when they finally click, when they finally fully bond, that's when their form evolves, and that's when we get that new design.
Is this, like, I can't remember, is this the first time MJ has voluntarily, willingly gone to superhero? I mean, yes, she was getting attacked as part of the spiral, but, like, every other, like, the other stuff was like, you know, I'm attached because I'm surviving. Madam Mask is trying to kill me, so I have to defend myself. Doc Ock is trying to kill me, so I have to defend myself. This is like the first time she's like,
in terms of being the host for the Venom symbiote, yes. Like I'm a little foggy on the jackpot stuff because I genuinely don't give a crap.
I do not care.
But in terms of her being like the host of the Venom symbiote,
well, that's what I mean. Yeah.
I think this is the first time she is making that conscious decision. I think
like this right here, this hands off of her. This is the first time where she's like, I'm gonna Venom as a verb. You know what I mean? Like every other time it's been to disguise herself or, you know, you take over, you drive because it's a fight. And that, let's go symbiote. So yeah, and that makes complete sense because for those who might not remember, here, we literally were just talking about the design.
Because we just got a new cover reveal.
We just got a new cover from Clayton Crane, who surprisingly, I'm not a big fan of. I know
we're hit or miss on.
Yeah, it's very hit or miss. But this one, I think both of us agree is like, this is a pretty damn good one from Clayton.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. But this is the new upcoming MJ design. Here, let's get out of Twitter. So way more form-fitting. You know, her hair is showing.
It's like a mix of Scream and like anytime we've seen like a female symbiote in movies and comics, it leans far more that way. It's sleek, it's slender, it's feminine.
Do you want to know my
that creepy face?
Yeah, with like the long jaw and everything. My personal little headcanon here, and I don't think they'll mention this, but it would be really neat if they did. Because when I first saw this, you know, gold boots, all black, gold things here, I wanted, in my head, MJ designing her very first super suit, she's taking inspiration from the Wasp, who is a fashion guru. And, you know, she would know from her time as like a model or whatever. And she's just classic, you know, subtly, not like at the forefront, but like, yeah, why not go for that classic Wasp look or whatever?
I could see Van Dyne.
Total headcanon.
I could see Van Dyne, like a silhouette. All you do is add the wings and make it the short hair.
And it's like, okay, that could be her. And then, you know, you do the horror movie thing where you tap her on the shoulder and then blah or whatever.
I dig that headcanon. Yeah. I'm here for it.
But to what you're saying, I mean, the form fitting, the hair showing, and really the part that sells me on your idea of like this is their evolution after fusing are the boots. Because I don't think Venom at any moment would be like, heels have any tactical advantage here, right? Like, but MJ would be like, I don't like, okay, but
I don't care. We're a symbiote. What difference does it make?
It doesn't matter. Like,
this isn't hurting my feet.
Exactly. Like, and it'll look good. Like, do it.
This is purely aesthetic. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're on it right there. Like, yeah. I think we just got to the end of it. I think we got to see. So really, as we come to the end of this, which, by the way, another amazing Gomez MJ. Like, get out of here, man. But also, I like that Peter. So I like that Peter. I like, that's kind of like how I view Peter. Like youngish with that shaggy hair. I don't know. That's a good Pete to me. But yeah, so I think okay, so just to close it out, we get one final page off of all of this, which is just during the Torment Carnage fight. Torment Carnage was going to kill one of Peter's cousins, and he says it out loud. Peter tries to what do you call it? Like brush it off as a joke. The cousin clearly goes, "Hey, maybe there's something to this," and he's asking his doctor to do a genetic screening. So what? Like, I genuinely can't care. Like, I
don't really care about that.
Nothing about this is interesting.
I don't care where that goes. However, I am more interested now in where we're going into Queen in Black, because Queen in Black is when we're gonna get fully bonded. Because I'm that's now what I'm running with.
Yeah.
That new form is because they're actually fully bonded. I'm looking forward to seeing what we cook now.
If this is where we're at with Death Spiral, and then we're about to go, like, I think we get like one issue of both books, and then we're right into Queen in Black. So it's like, you know what? I bet you that Venom issue is going to be them coming to terms with it, and then we end on that, like, boom, like, costume shot or whatever it is. I think
we'll end on like a single page splash, right?
And then you
of them forming the new suit,
and then you flip for an epilogue, and it's like Hela sitting on her throne. She's like, oh, there's a symbiote, like something, blah blah blah, whatever. Right?
Yeah. And then we move into Queen in Black.
Queen in Black, which the Iban behind the wheel. Oh man, I went back and I was looking through Venomore for things to put on the new graphic, and like, just give that man symbiotes. Like don't ever
just let him draw all the symbiotes.
Don't even look at anybody else.
If you're not gonna let Stegman, if you're gonna have Stegman doing X-Men stuff,
poor Stegman.
Give it to Iban. Just give it to Iban, please. I feel bad for Stegman because he's under writers that are mid.
Freaking mid. I mean, he there's that. What is it that I just sent you that cover of War Machine that Stegman drew? That looks pretty damn cool, but it's on a very mediocre Iron Man book, like very mediocre. So who knows? But that is Death Carnage. That's Death Spiral.
Death Spiral.
Nine
mid-event
issues,
with a really interesting ending.
Really good ending that I don't know we needed 8 issues or 9 issues and a brand new villain mystery that we don't know anything, guys. Like,
I genuinely feel like unless Spidey is going to play a far larger role in this Queen in Black event, because so far we don't know anything about his role in it that I know of.
I don't even think we've gotten like a mention of like a Queen in Black Spider-Man mini or whatever. Like I haven't heard it at all.
I'd be surprised if there wasn't at least a tie-in, but I mean, we'll see, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like barring that, you could have just made this more Venom focused, and you could have tightened it up and made it more of a 5 or 6 issue arc. Tighten up the scripting. And then we don't have all this extra nonsense, because the ending was genuinely interesting.
It's really good.
I'm actually really excited to see where we go with MJ and Venom right now.
We could have had that same effect if she did it to Madame Mask in that final fight they had. Or if like Madame Mask was like, here's, my AIM soldier, deal with him, and she did it to him. Like, we didn't need all of this. And so the final stamp I want to put on, like, why we didn't need all of this. You guys remember I've been saying, I was reading something in during the week because we didn't really have a lot to read this week. I pulled up, no, not you. That's not what I wanted to pick up.
I'm fine with looking at it again.
I mean, yeah, it's great. It's MJ and it's Clayton, but
it's dope.
I popped open these old Sensational Spider-Man, during the Clone Saga, during the Ben era, because we've been here before. This is to me, this is another case of what you and I talk about all the time of reheated nachos. Like, it's Civil War 2. It's Inhumans versus X-Men or X-Men versus whatever again. And like, to me, so I read the entire arc for Spider Carnage here with Ben is 4 issues long. And it's actually, I don't know if you've read it, Andrew, or if you have, like, maybe not in a long time. But if you
it's been a very long time.
Also, like, that's just a cool, like, that's Romita, really, but like, that's fucking like, cool, right?
That's super like horror Carnage, which is like how he's supposed to look.
Right. But so this entire arc, it's 4 issues of Ben accident, like the Carnage symbiote leaves Cletus. They're in maximum security lockdown. It attaches itself to John Jameson, who is the warden of Ravencroft. One day, he's like leaving work, and Ben's spider sense goes off, and he's like, "What? Oh, hey, I know John. Like, what's going on?" The symbiote out of nowhere takes over John, and it turns out that the symbiote is like, "Later, Cletus. Like, I don't need your ass," and he's just gonna go find a stronger host. So he started with John because John's a werewolf, but then he encounters Ben, and he goes, "Spider-Man's way stronger." So he leaps onto Ben, he attaches himself to Ben, and they become like a spider carnage. In Death Spiral, Peter, as we saw, you know, like Andrew pointed out, 5 panels maybe, or like what, like 2-3 pages, and it really doesn't amount to anything except Carnage kind of sounding like, you know, like he's written by Reddit. Like, I really hate whatever this current Carnage voice they're writing him with is, but yeah, but then it's over. He gets blown off of Peter, and we're all fine. These issues, Ben gets stuck with the symbiote, and at first he's like, "I got to get it off of me," but then he goes, "Well, I can save people if I keep it in me. Like, it'll never hurt anybody again." So he's like trying to struggle with it, and he's battling, and so we actually get like that look into like what would it be like if Spider-Man got taken over by Carnage. It's not this little like, "Oh, see how good I am," right? Like, we see throughout this entire series that it tries, but it can never ever, like, right here, there's a bunch of security guards, kill them, and Ben goes, "I won't let you hurt them." So they mess him up, but Ben's able to like hold it back from like killing them. And like that, to me, that's sort of like the exploration I would have wanted to see from an event where Peter gets bonded to it. We don't get it. And like, kind of, you know, let's bring this all full circle in terms of like earnestness versus really just trying to milk your fans. This is an earnest exploration of that concept, right? They went, Ben's going to be Carnage for like 4 months, and we're going to explore that. Here they went, "Oh shit, it's Spider Carnage. Buy this cover, buy this variant, buy this. Oh my, Spider-Man's never bonded with Carnage."
Except he has.
And he has, and then it's like, okay, so that's it. And it's really disappointing, I guess is kind of where I'm going with it, because like, you've done this before, Marvel, like you always do, and you did it better. And I don't know, this didn't, like, your attempt here didn't add anything. Like, Death Spiral didn't add anything to Carnage's mythos, to Spider-Man. It gave us a plot move forward moment for Venom and MJ.
It gave us a plot, and that was the... I don't want to undersell that, because that was a genuinely really cool and interesting development, but we didn't need all of the other stuff to get there. We could have done a much tighter story to get to there.
You know what? Off the top of my head, freaking, because I was just talking about him, you know who we could have done for like a 4-issue arc to deal with this almost the same way? Lee Price. You could have had Lee. I hate Eddie. I hate Peter, because I know who they are because I was bonded. And he's messed up in the head right now. Like, if you guys don't remember, I think only Andrew and I do, Lee was dead, and then he got brought back, and then he got the symbiote removed from him, and then in Venom War, he got, what were they called? Like remember, like, there was a specific name for those Venoms, or for those symbiotes. Remember? And I can't...
Oh, yeah. Because that was what, a 3-part mini? Like, it was the tie-ins that they did?
Venombies? Was that what... It wasn't that dumb.
No.
But it was something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I just, for the life of me, I can't remember the specific name of it, yeah.
But yeah, during Venom War, he gets attached to one of those, and when Venom goes full gold and ends Carnage and cuts off the connection to the King in Black and everything, one of the big like epilogue mystery or like moments is that Lee still has a symbiote, and we just haven't seen him. So again, it's not like we like Lee or he's a good character, but if you needed something to just move everything along, you have so many toys essentially that you've already bought and purchased that could have got the job done without having to go, well, now here, let me give you the presentation on my new toy, right? And if he shows back up again, like, I don't care. I don't know who he is. I don't know. We literally, guys, don't know why he cares about the spirals. We just know that he does. He doesn't even say
we know
like
nothing about him.
Like we didn't even see like, oh, I was at the orphanage and I drew a spiral and it was, you know, I got hit by the nun and it traumatized. Whatever. Nothing. I like spirals.
But they
I like spirals. And it's just like, okay, man, you do you. You freaking
I'm tormented by the spirals. The voices are only quiet if
Oh
I
my
handle the spirals. It's like,
gosh.
okay,
Oh,
cool, but
no.
you didn't actually tell us anything there.
You didn't tell us
Yeah.
anything. So, I mean, what do you expect from Marvel? I will say, I guess I was really happy that they brought in Eddie McGuinness for this event
Yes.
because I love this man's Spider-Man work. It's crazy good.
Some of the absolute best of all time.
Just stop giving good artists to bad writers. I think that's probably where we can put a stamp on this. But Andrew, we're a little past our 2-hour mark. I'm having fun. I know you and I could go on forever, but I really, at this point, I feel like the show would just become like two guys hanging out at their table. You know what I mean? Because
there's not much else to say. There was nothing this week that at least we read. Like I said, I didn't get to make it out to my LCS, so I haven't read Uncanny yet. I'll probably do that either tomorrow or Saturday.
Oh,
but today was a good I think good look through the wrap up of Death Spiral, and I will say at least this, while I don't, in the end, I was a little let down and I don't care so much about Death Spiral as an event. I am, based on just that final couple of pages, really looking forward to Queen in Black.
Yes. I mean, luckily you and I were already kind of on that train. We were like, oh,
yeah,
all right, there could be something here. I'm liking this. So this to me is just more like, oh, we're going to eat very well. Like hopefully it doesn't end in food poisoning. But at right now, the menu looks really, 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 really good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, Clone Geek says, I think a big problem Venom has as a character is that he really doesn't have much of a civilian supporting cast members unique to him. I mean, we've talked about this before. That's going to happen. He is related to Peter. Eddie, if you go back and read old Eddie stuff, he actually does have a pretty significant like supporting cast, even if all of his stories spiral back to Peter. Like he's got like Anne, he's got I forget his name, but he's got like a couple contacts at not the Bugle, but there's another paper that they always talk about in Marvel. And so
well, now we have Dylan, but
Dylan's great.
The fact is, I mean, if you're one of those people that thinks that the only proper Venom is Eddie, then I've got news for you. You've got no bitching points that are legitimate about not having characters that aren't connected to Spider-Man, because Eddie is connected to Spider-Man.
Like, just where do you think the symbol comes from, right?
It's intrinsic at that point, right? His hatred of Spidey, of Peter, was a huge sticking point there early on.
And when you take Pete and Spidey away, you get the movies, which are funny-ish, but
the first one had some fun moments.
Like
the second arc is good,
right? Like it's fun. You can have a good little outing, but it's not adding anything to the character, and it actually kind of screws over the character a lot. Like, the stupid like I'm eating lobster in a fish tank. I was like, this is haha funny. Okay, like this isn't Venom. I don't know what we're doing here.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, I think with that we can probably call it for this week. We have a lot to do like next week. It's just going to be buckle up, guys. We're probably going to have to do some triage. Before we get out of here, I will definitely say, even though the week was very slow, there was that one shot, the Batman Wonder Woman Truth. It's fine. Give it a shot if you like. You're not going to be. It doesn't. It's whatever. Like it's a good little one shot. You won't be upset having read it. But I will say, it is not you. You ruined my reveal. How dare you ruin my reveal? It is some of Jim Chung's best fucking like. Oh my
what I've
God.
seen.
It is all of.
I'll check it out when I hit up my LCS tomorrow or Saturday. I'll flip through a copy.
He puts
and
he
does
OG Harley, by the way, and I was like stunned. I went, whoa, yeah, like bring her back. I don't need that Suicide Squad crap. But that's all I wanted to do. Again, we're really reaching for things to talk about from this week. So, Andrew, wrap it up for us. What do you got to tell the people about?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with us this week on a very slow week, but we had a fun time, I think, talking about Death Spiral, which was overall a pretty middling event with a very interesting ending. that has us excited for what's next. I just wish we would also have been excited for what we were just reading.
I just got the metaphor in my head. It's like we just watched a gymnastics routine at the Olympics, right? Where most of the 5-minute runtime was them just doing like little jumps, and you're going, okay, and then like last move, they fucking like 5 flips in the air and spun around and landed it, and it's great. But overall, like I can't give you more than like a 2.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
and most of that comes from that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So guys, thanks for hanging out with us. I appreciate you. Thank you for supporting Arcstream False Start #1 over at the Rippaverse. Thank you for supporting all the stuff that we got going on over the Rippaverse. Thank you for supporting and watching the videos over at Room of Requirement. I have in fact, Mary and Dylan have been editing my latest video the last couple of days. That's a 2-parter that I'm really proud of, and I had a lot of fun writing. It was actually a script idea that I'd been wanting to do almost since Mary and I started the idea of the channel, even before we like actually had videos going live. And it's a comparison and contrasting kind of almost theory craft of Voldemort and Grindelwald. Not a look at like, oh, who would win in a fight? No, looking at their ideologies
Well,
and looking
Supreme.
at how different
we would know.
are.
We know the winner of that fight is Supreme.
Of course. So guys, please look forward to that video. Subscribe to the channel. We put a lot of work into it. We have a lot of passion for it. And yeah, thanks for hanging out with us every single week here. We actually grew. I didn't even notice until just now. We actually grew quite a bit as a channel in the last month or so. So guys, please keep sharing these out. If you're in other comic book,
it's all him. It's all him.
It's probably not all me. But if you're in comic book groups on Facebook or in Discord, things like that, please share out the videos, share out the stream. We want to continue to grow this.
You know, we got our Instagram, we got our Twitter. Find the links down below. I have graphics I'm working on that, you know, I'll be able to pop up soon. But I did a lot today with graphics, so you get what you get.
Yeah, exactly. We want more people to see intellectually honest comic book talk, so please share those out. And if you're Harry Potter fans in the chat and you're part of Harry Potter discords or groups on Facebook or whatever, like share out Room of Requirement in there as well, because we put a lot of work into that, and so we're very proud of that. So these two channels, I don't so much care about my own personal channel because I just go on other people's stuff. But as far as like these two, like there's a lot of fun and enjoyment that we get out of these. So guys, please share those out. Share the good news, the good word of intellectually honest comic book talk and deep
intellectually
Harry Potter
honest
lore.
Oh my, that joke fucked up. I was gonna say intellectually honest potions talk, but my mouth is dry. We're running to the end of here. It could have worked. Well, it could have worked, but clearly
the headcanon will be that it worked.
That's what I like to hear. But guys, we'll be back next week with a bunch more stuff to get through. Go read some good stuff. It's a light week. You know what? Go revisit the Clone Saga. Why not? Yeah, exactly. Go check out some stuff. I know Subhuman was reading Final Crisis. There's lots of good stuff out there. Hopefully you'll find something and you'll come talk to us about it, because that's what we're here for. Like Andrew said, you're home for intellectually honest comic book talk, and that's all I've got, my friends. Andrew?
Guys, till next time, God bless and Godspeed.
Oh, Saturday, free comic book day. Go check out your local store. Lots of cool stuff coming. Always
Saturday.
Or what is it? Comic book giveaway day, free comic book day. Everybody gets a comic day, whatever the hell they're calling it nowadays. There's like 7 names. Go check it out.
Go support your local comic store.
Absolutely. And we'll see you on Thursday with our post free comic book day and post Wednesday report and all that fun stuff. Until next time, guys, take it easy. That's all I got. See ya.
Never before have we had greater face a complex, rapidly changing world. Think of it a moment.
It is a world in which supersonic speeds are commonplace. It is a world that has seen the coming of the atomic bomb. It has seen the rise of the total state, the dictator, and the mass man. It is a world of new sensations, new excitements, new distractions.
So much to be learned by so many in so little time.
And I suppose you're here with no agenda, as per usual?
On the contrary, I'm here for comics. kind of man are you anyway? I'm talking comics and you bring up chicks and romance?